Okay, but what fries are they?
Hello, 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 chat. They're just
Hello,
fries.
chat.
I hope everyone's having a good day, good night, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. To go ahead and get like a couple little answers out quickly before we start. No, we are not reading the entire doc today. It is over 1,000 pages. By the way, some people.
Yeah, this is gonna have to be chunked up.
Some people are like getting in fights over how many pages it is for some reason, which is really stupid. How many pages a Google Doc is based partially on the font, but also on your screen's resolution. So if you have a tiny resolution...
For instance, I'm at a 720 by 1386 or something like that, which means that for my resolution, it's about 1,200 pages total. If you have 1,600 by 900 resolution, it could be closer to 1,000 pages or 800. If you have even higher, it could only be 600. But if you are using this as a gotcha, as a point that you think is validly made, honestly, you failed the litmus test. You need to take some Tylenol and you need to calm down.
Yeah, people need to understand, this is not like the old Microsoft document stuff. Google Docs actively change how the pages are formatted based on who is looking at them. So, I don't know why people didn't know this, considering how many fucking Google Docs there have been in the last year, the last 2 or 3 years. But, no, the page count doesn't matter.
Also another thing.
For Sinder, it was about 1,000 pages.
I saw a couple NewsTubers actually decided to oh look, she's live editing the doc. People have to understand, again, when you're dealing with a doc this big, simply moving a paragraph down one space is moving all 110,000 characters down one space. One small edit can equal major edits to Google.
Yeah.
When we're dealing with pages, when we're dealing with docs this big, honestly, Google Docs is not built for this. It's glitchy as fuck. It's why sometimes the fucking page won't even load for some people.
Yeah. There are also people that were complaining about like that she had the make a copy thing turned off. I think that's a default thing now because
like 4 or 5 docs like that.
Almost every doc recently has the make a copy turned off. I think it's like a default thing they've added. I'm not sure. But all you have to do here, for all the NewsTubers that apparently can't figure this out. Control C. Holy shit, I just copied it. It's such a dumb thing. Akko was covering it last night, and Akko had everything compiled into one giant Google Doc for themselves. You can do it. Like, stop being a fucking baby about it. It's not weird.
Yeah. Not only that, but I also will say too, there's some people who came out and they pretty much have come out, said that they're not planning on reading the document, are stating what's in the document, and saying, had she just come out and apologized and moved on, we would have been fine with it. No, the fuck you wouldn't have. Because she tried that and you guys fucking double tapped her into the ground.
Yeah.
So just admit that you would never be happy, no response, apology, no apology. You just want to see her burn. That's what that is.
Yeah, there's a couple things I've noticed. The first is the people who refuse to read it. The second are the people who nitpick parts from the start and then claim they've read everything, which no, they haven't. Some of these people are claiming they had read everything 5 minutes after it was posted. I don't care how good of a speed reader you are, you did not read over 1,000 pages in 5 minutes. Fuck off. You are lying through your teeth.
So I was considered one of the fastest readers in my class in high school. I could read a 700-page novel in about 4.5, 5 hours. That's considered lightning fast, people. And this fucking novel is twice that fucking page number. This is going to take a couple days worth of reading, at least. We're talking maybe 12 to 16 hours of reading.
Yeah. I'm also going to point out that a lot of people said that they read everything because they used AI to shorten it. While you might be able to use AI to get like a quick summary of it, it can't pick up any of the pictures. And almost the entire Nanolis section is pictures of their conversation.
the model that I did can. Now, for those who don't know, we're going to read the whole thing first. But to kind of show a comparison test, I decided to run it through ChatGPT's paid latest model, and it gave us a summary. We will reveal, we will reveal that model and its analysts after we've read it to determine how accurate it actually was. But we already have a fairly decent summary as far as AI is concerned. We're going to do the work and see if the AI is actually accurate.
But it's also something you should not be using the AI in place of reading it.
No, you absolutely should not. And this is how lawyers have actually relied too much on AI, and gotten disbarred for it. And AI makes a great paralegal. It makes a horrible lawyer.
Also, thank you for the head pats, Magma. Magma, hoi hoi 5 months. Also, not how I thought this week would go. Also, head hort, so I'm becoming a Tylenol American. Lol. The other thing I wanted to touch on is there are a lot of larger VTubers who were deathly silent when Sinder was getting canceled that are now spamming the timeline with, we shouldn't talk about drama, guys. Drama is very inappropriate. Like, you just shouldn't talk about it. I see you. I believe you're dishonest. I believe you're weaponizing your niceness to try and cover this up.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because if this was your actual thought, if this was actually what you believed, you would have called it out when it was being done against Sinder. But now that Sinder is, one, accepting responsibility where they believe they have been at fault, and firmly and suchly defending themselves where they believe false claims have been made. They're allowed to do that. They have a constitutional right to do that. And you going, hey guys, we shouldn't do this drama thing. This is really, I don't know about this. Fuck you. Because you didn't say that 5 months ago when Shy Lily and company fucking obliterated Sinder from space.
Yeah, you haven't said it literally any other time, but now you're saying it. You haven't said it for any other drama. You didn't even say it for this drama when it happened the first time. But now we need to come together and be polite to each other. I see you. You're lying. I know you are. Also, thank you, Akko, for the 20. Bless Ava and Mizu for their constitution. Thanks for both coming. Thanks for coming last night. Love you both. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I'll go.
So to kind of give you guys a preamble
of what we're doing. Kazahana has already done 3 videos. I think there's 3 videos he's uploaded so far on it.
Yeah. So, to clarify,
no, it's like, yeah.
To clarify, chat, I will be doing multiple streams on it, so we don't do it all at once. Our hope today is, first off, we're not reading this. This is her opening preamble. Really doesn't matter. I'm kind of a person who does not believe these preambles should exist. However, I also acknowledge that most people only read the preamble and nothing else. Which was something I said to the chairman the other day as well.
This is an opening statement.
Yeah.
And I will say, as an opening statement, it does a very good job. It's not testimony. She is explaining to you what they went through, what this document's going to cover, and what this document's not going to cover, and then they moved on. This is a very good, intro thing to an essay. But for our purposes, given we're getting into the meat of it, we don't need to actually go over this.
Yeah. We will cover the redacted part, which is her boyfriend. It doesn't mean redacted like a document redacted. It's the name of her boyfriend or his online handle. We will be reading her.
Sure thing, SCP-497.
We'll be reading her apology part because for some reason a bunch of people don't see this or can't see this or more likely are pretending it doesn't exist. Because it's literally the third page. And it's not like 200 pages in.
This me off the most about people going, oh, they didn't apologize. It's just strict responsibility. No, if you read the fucking first pages, you would have seen this.
Yeah. So it's not like it's a bunch of pages in. The overdue response is 2 pages. Redacted's thing, I think, is 4 pages. So if you get through 6 pages, you get to the my apology bit. And people are just pretending this doesn't exist because they suck. And then after that, we're going to try and get through all of the Nanolist bit, but it is 222 pages. Now, I saw some people in chat already say this, but the nanoless bit is, in my opinion, the only part that technically matters. Because a lot of people talk about the Shy Lily stuff, but the nanoless stuff is where Sinder was being accused of actual crimes.
I mean, look, if nanoless, if everything had not happened with nanoless, nothing else would have happened.
Yeah.
This is quite literally, this is the smoking gun, this is the core of the argument here, is what happened between nanoless and everybody else. They're the central figure. So, for them to lead with the nanoless stuff is honestly very smart, and it's the most damning to nanoless.
Yes, and it's also, in my opinion, the most important because almost every accusation of Sinder doing something comes from something that was said to nanoless. The only things that aren't included in that, sorry, are some of the stuff with Spite, which is why Spite has like her own 200 section document. The V card stuff with Shy Lily and the Numi concert. Which, by the way, to any news tubers who were actually paying attention, they could have found out literally months ago that the Numi concert thing was just a lie on Shy Lily's part, and so was the V card stuff. Like, this was something that was literally confirmed months ago, and they just ignored that bit. So we didn't even need the Sinder document to fix that. The Numi concert and the V card stuff went hand in hand, and just to like teal deer it really quick, Lily just got it wrong. She just assumed the V card date was something else when Sinder had been told the correct date and Shy Lily wasn't keeping track of it. Like, we already knew this.
Yeah, Numi confirmed that Sinder was present.
Yes. So that was just a lie on Lily's part. I mean, you could argue that it was an accidental mistake. However, something that does come out in this document that I've seen is that we have confirmed it was in fact not an accidental mistake, and Lily was directly told at the time that she was wrong about this. Which is fucking wild to me.
Yeah.
That Sinder had all of these messages with these people, and they just lied about it.
Well, here's the thing, right? I honestly don't think, especially after Cinder's initial apology and Shy Lily came out and double tapped that bitch, I honestly think they thought they weren't going to hear from Sinder again. Or anything that Sinder, presented wouldn't be damning enough. Now, whether it's hubris or overconfidence or whatever, I think Icarus flew too close to the sun here.
I think it might just be stupidity. Because the thing is, with because you see this all the time with small VTubers, where small VTubers get canceled and they just quit, even though they don't have to. But with a big VTuber like Sinder, she can't just quit. This is an actual job for her. Like, duh, she's gonna come back.
This is a career. She has responsibilities, sponsorship, stuff like that. And there is a part in the document, in her apology part, that I consider an act of contrition that she's already done since back in June. But she gave up her ownership shares of GamerSups, and she specifically mentions it as part of to try and make amends. So it's one thing for somebody to just apologize. It's another person to put actual action in place and say, no, I feel bad for this. This is why I'm doing this. It's an attempt to make amends. That's more than I'd say 98% of content creators who are canceled actually ever do.
Yeah. Who would you say is damaged the most or made to look bad from this response, Nano or Shy Lily? It's definitely Nano. And the reason is...
Nano, yeah, by far.
All we really have on Shy Lily right now is Shy Lily is very clearly lying about the V-card stuff. And she is very clearly jealous of Sinder for whatever bizarre reason she has. But the reality is a lot of the negative stuff about Shy Lily would have to come from Nano. Because that was the person she was having these private backroom conversations with. Sinder, even in her own document, admits that her and Shy Lily don't communicate much. Mostly because Shy Lily doesn't communicate much.
which we have, like, yeah. I mean, Shy Lily has literally admitted on stream to intentionally ducking collabs because she doesn't want to collab with Sinder. So, yeah, there's a very clear, like, communication is a two-way street, and if one side is not willing to drive the distance, well, yeah, you're gonna have these problems.
Also, thank you, Telroth A. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, for the 10 gifted memberships. And thank you, Colzer, for member for 5 months. How far are we in? Was helping customers. We are just starting. We just going over the preamble. So we'll start with the redacted bit. The redacted bit is kind of important because she did throw him under the bus at the start. However, I do have to give it to the one person that said Cinder's starter apology was probably made in haste without thinking things through much.
Yeah.
And the reality is, I sort of believe that too, but I have a policy where if somebody admits to something, I have to, on some degree, just kind of go with it. Because I'm kind of the belief...
Yeah, that's true.
Unless you are mentally unstable, if you just admit to something, I have no reason to doubt you. And I can't just on its face start doubting you. I have to have some extra information to go with that, and with Sinder we didn't have that. In fact, with everything we had from the nano screenshots, it did seem to be that Red was the dishonest one. However, from what me and Ava have seen off stream, that opinion has since changed very heavily.
A little bit, yeah. No, there's, and I will say, they do their best to separate Red's actions from their own while also still, admitting that, no, I should have known that this was going on, that these things were being said. I should have been more on top of it. I'm going to be more on top of it going forward. I will say, too, a criticism I have is, I mean, look, I understand it, but bringing Red back on to help you with this and to help you in general, I don't know that's the best move. I understand the reasoning, though.
Yeah. Now, in chat, before people get too into it, because a lot of drama tubers are really latching on to the fact that Red was involved, they're still dating. Like...
Yeah.
Let's assume that everything Red was accused of was true, which some of it appears to be not, based on what we have in screenshots.
Yep.
You can't just break off a relationship like that over Discord DMs without a discussion, right? And a lot of people are like, oh no, you just immediately dump your boyfriend of, however many years. Well, no, you don't. You have to have a proper sit-down discussion about your relationship and what happened. That's how an actual healthy couple handles things.
Yep.
And based on what we kind of get from the document, it seems like Sinder went to Red and was like, look, this is all the stuff that they posted about you. Explain it,
Yeah, and they were emotional and they decided to fight. Which, I mean, yeah, look, that's an appropriate response. Find out the manager's done even one thing kind of behind your back or like not exactly how you thought it was going. That's a fireable offense. Red did like 4 things, okay? So like, I understand that initial, hey, I gotta distance myself here, take some time and fucking sort myself. And they did that and found, for whatever reason, enough trust in Red to bring them back on. That's their decision. I'm not going to police them over it.
Also, I have to address this because a couple people have brought this up. Yes, Sinder cheating on Red was bad. However, that is between her and Red. Like, that is...
Yeah, that's really not for us to,
Me and Ava cover, like, legal stuff all the time. And some of the accusations from Nano were legal. So imagine Sinder sitting in an actual courtroom on the stand being asked about, like, financial fraud and torturous interference. And then the lawyer just goes...
did you cheat on your boyfriend? I'm sorry, you're gonna be objected as to relevance.
Yeah, did you cheat on your boyfriend, like, 7 years ago? Like, fucking what? Why? That was something that was specifically brought up just to hurt Sinder, which I think is kind of a scummy thing. I think the more interesting part of that was the person who admitted they cheated with Sinder admitted they knew that she was in a relationship, so they were kind of just as bad, but they were still trying to paint themselves as a victim. Like, no, you weren't a victim. You slept with somebody you knew had a relationship just because you wanted to. You're just as culpable in that case, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna go through the red bit. We'll go through as much as we can, but I'm definitely breaking this up into different streams on my own, so people that want specific parts can have specific parts, I guess. And then I'll probably ask my editor if he can do something with it later. Did they actually do the nasty, or was it just sexting? I actually believe it was just sexting, from everything I heard.
It was just sexting, but they consider it cheating, so for them, cheating is very much like, you have an objective definition of cheating, but it's also many subjective definitions of cheating.
Yeah.
Sinder and Red have agreed, you know, together that her actions online, through ERP, on Discord, whatever, was cheating. Honestly, that line is something you have to establish with your partner beforehand. That way you guys know if that's a line that is going to be crossed or not.
Yeah. Like, I mean, some people are as low with their cheating as, well, as long as you don't have feelings for them, you can have sex with other people. Like, for me, that's extremely too far. But some people are like that.
Yeah, no, me too.
You have to understand that some people have lower requirements and some people have higher requirements. And it's not for us to choose their requirements, it's for them and their partner.
Yeah, so that does kind of speak to the larger thing when it comes to Red and Cinder's relationship. Beyond their professional relationship on the public face, honestly, their private relationship is none of our businesses, and we're not really going to spend much time harping on it. Because I guarantee you, anybody who doesn't have a valid argument for Cinder's response here, this is a big thing for them. They're going to focus on this.
Yes.
And if somebody is focused on this, just understand they're probably being a little bit dishonest, either with you or even themselves.
Exactly. But so Red starts this part with, Red helped me put together this entire document. We want to be upfront and honest that this was a two-person effort. His own commentary is present throughout it and is labeled as his and highlighted in blue. I would like to point out
I do like that,
that
by the
for
way.
people who are upset that she is being honest about Red being involved in this, Shy Lily's involvement was hidden until Bao accidentally let it slip. Everybody was perfectly fine with
100%.
hiding the fact that Shy Lily helped craft the other documents until Bao, who had, I guess, has not been
even when
told.
it was exposed, either people ignored it or people, oh, well, that's fine.
Yeah, no,
Because analyst said that she had friends help them because she ESL, you know, English second language, and I need help. Well, guess what? If it's not okay here, it shouldn't have been okay then either, even when it came out.
Well, no, I saw like one person retweet Cinder's document, and they're like, it's so weird that Cinder is trying to blame Shy Lily and say that she had some involvement with the other documents. Bro, Shy Lily admitted she did.
Because she did.
Bao says it in her document. Shy Lily admits it on stream.
We see it in the Nalos fucking screenshots.
Like, what?
Oh my god, come on, people.
Like, you guys are. We knew this months ago. What are you guys on?
And like, that does come back to the, like, this is our gripes are quite literally, there's almost nothing in here that we didn't already know or couldn't glean through our research months ago. So we are putting these other content creators and other news tubers to task because they didn't do their due diligence, and now they're shocked Pikachu face about all of this. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. Because you could have figured this out months ago, but you chose not to.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't want to look at it. We'll chalk all of it up to intellectual dishonesty at a personal gain. I'm of the opinion they just don't read. They just skim shit and then put out videos on it because it's easier and quicker that way, and then they get back to doing whatever else they want to do. So anytime Red is speaking or adding stuff to the document, he is highlighted in blue like this. So Red says, hi, I'm Red. I'm Cinder's long-term partner, and I've worked alongside her since she started this career. I helped her put this document together to set the record straight. Over the past few months, I've come to terms with being the reason why Cinder's image, her relationships, and her career were all ruined. I hurt people who are her friends. I fucked up, and she had to answer to the world for it by herself. My actions ruined everything for her, and I'm taking responsibility and helping her pick up the pieces. I didn't want to put something out sooner without her that could have made things worse. I ask you don't hold what I did against her. So I do have to add this.
I will say too.
Yeah, you go.
But you go first.
I was going to say, because people were asking me if I'd ever do an update on the Cinder stuff, and I said not until she comes back. So one of the things I wanted to add to any update I do is that Cinder and Red were in a long-term relationship, which actually is something valid to understand when people like Shy Lily were openly saying, well, they live together, so they know everything each other is doing. Well, I don't even agree with that. Just because you live with somebody doesn't mean you know every private message they send on their Discord.
Neither do I. I've been in court arguing for divorce for a woman who did not know her man was fucking selling drugs out the back of their business for 15 years. Okay, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that yes, people who live together long term can hide things from each other. It happens very frequently, in fact.
Yes. I just think it was important to bring up that they were openly lying about her and Red living together. They knew that they weren't. They were just lying about it to make it seem worse.
They were not living together.
It was just a blatant lie on their part.
Which it does. If they're living together, then there's a little bit more credence to the, well, how did you not know, blah, blah. I still don't agree, but there's a little bit more. They were not living together. They're in a long-distance, long-term relationship.
It just really annoys me that that was such a blatant lie, and it came out like a week after that it was a lie from Cinder's other friends. And nobody addressed it. Because if you're willing to just lie about little itty bitty shit like that, what else are you lying about? You shouldn't be lying about all the small things.
Falsus in uno, falsus in omnibus.
Anyone who thinks normal couples know everything each other does is insane. Exactly. Like, there's no way to know.
Oh yeah. And my point here was, I was gonna say too. The one thing we never got in these months and months of people asking for it, wondering, speculating, whatever, was Red's response, or even Red's thoughts on the situation. He did the good thing that any lawyer would tell you to do, and he shut the fuck up until conditions were met that allowed him to speak.
Yeah.
That's very smart, and honestly, kudo points to Red. I don't like a lot of the things he was doing, but he's owning up to it, and he chose not to make it worse by talking on it over these last few months.
Thank you, Akko, for the 5. I'll add it on Red being back, but I would never get the nano DMs without him, so I'm fine with it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you, Abisash, over on Twitch for joining us. And thank you, M2M, for the $2. I do hope VTubers evolve past high school drama BS. No, VTubers won't evolve past the high school drama BS.
No, because content creators haven't. Look at freaking Ludwig or any of the other freaking IRL streamers. They haven't evolved past it. Why would we?
Yeah. Also, thank you for the correction, Ava. Yes, welcome to the puddle, Anubis Ash, over on Twitch. I had something else I was going to add, and I forgot it. But, eh.
You know, Mad Matter, you're right, but that's the thing. Up until 2024, the actual events that happened and where a problem happened between 2024, 2025 over an 8-month period, and the issue here is during that time when these people came out, they lived together. They were not actually living together. Yes, Cinder did live with Red's parents for a time, but when they made that claim, that was not accurate, and they knew it wasn't accurate.
Yeah. So Red and I are still together. We had a falling out and spent time apart after the documents dropped on April 26th, but he was still here for me when I was ready to talk to him again. We were able to work things out between us and forgive each other for what happened. I wasn't planning to say anything about this again publicly, but I felt I needed to. Years ago, I cheated on Red online for my own selfish reasons, and the things I said about him were out of my own frustrations and past experiences. I made things sound much worse than they were at the time and mischaracterized the person he is. Red already knew that this happened way before it was made public in April, and no one else was ever told about it before then either. We addressed both of our problems in our relationship and moved past it a long time ago. Had nothing to do with my career or current events and isn't relevant to talk about further. We disagree, we get mad at each other, we argue, but our relationship isn't toxic or abusive. I'd appreciate if the speculation around it would stop. And yet again, I'm 100% believe that that was just brought up to try and damage her reputation so the one person could get some clout. The person who outed that information immediately deleted their tweet like a day later because everybody was clowning on them.
Yeah, they did. I forgot about
saying,
that.
Yeah, because everybody was clowning on them saying, okay, but you're admitting that you willingly cheated with somebody when you knew they were in a relationship, so you're just as bad. And they're like, well, I'm not just as bad. That's not fair.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, especially when it comes to the weight and heft of these claims, the fact that Sinder cheated on Red several years ago has nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Red and I have always had some level of communication problems with each other. Neither of us are good communicators beyond surface level. It's hard to open up, and we get in our own heads about things. We butt heads, we disagree with each other sometimes. Even more so, working together all day, every day. It's gotten much better over the years, but it's never been perfect. So the idea that anyone in any relationship would know about and agree with everything their partner feels, says, and does is crazy to me. I'm not the only one who's ever had a significant other keep secrets from them, and neither is Red. Every relationship is different and has its own nuances, dynamics, and problems, functioning in a way that only two people involved know of and fully understand. No one looking in can say otherwise. Because I cheated on Red, should I assume that everyone's significant other has cheated on them in the past? Should I assume that all of my friends' relationships are the same as mine? No, and for me to claim I know exactly how things work between any of them just because I'm their friend that sees them a few times a year is ridiculous. That's another part.
It is.
People kept trying to say like they had this deep, intimate knowledge of Cinder because they went on a vacation with her like one time. And it's like, all of you have met this woman for like 2 weeks max time. That is how much physical time you have spent with her.
I mean, I do believe someone's ego would be big enough to make them go, oh yeah, I met this person for, God, a number of hours, you know, on a vacation, and now I know everything about them. I know who they are. No, you don't. You think you do.
Exactly. When I became Cinder, we wanted to keep our relationship private. In public, Red was simply my manager, and we hid our relationship from our friends for over a year during multiple trips. We agree I'd tell my closest friends about our relationship in March of 2024 because we felt we were close enough and trusted them enough to tell. When we traveled, my friends saw us always close by each other and showing each other our work DMs on our phones. Almost all of the time from chats we were both in. Instead of talking about things out loud to keep up with our projects while away and to keep them private between us, it's easier to say, look at this, to keep each other on the same page rather than have a verbal conversation while we're around other people at almost all times while away. What they saw at conventions or vacations was all they saw. Only Red and I would have had any idea how we worked together and acted around each other when at home. I do have to point out that on the part...
That's another thing, too. Your vacation persona is completely different than your at-home persona. So, like, even the Cinder and Red that they met, probably not the same person, like, if they were in their hometown.
Yeah. I will say that this actually, assuming it's true, does expose a little bit of a lie with Shy Lily and them. Because we are sort of led to believe from them that they have known that Cinder and Red were publicly dating for years. But if this is true, I'm not saying you couldn't have picked up on that, like seeing them in person, maybe being like, those two are definitely fucking. Like, we do that all the time. But you were pretending like this was public knowledge for years. But she's saying that she only outed it to close friends in March.
Yeah, words are important, and you have to understand that, okay, I'm sure what they're doing here is like, okay, maybe they had an inkling about the relationship before she came out and told them, but now oh yeah, I knew the whole time. No, you had a suspicion and then you were told. That's much different than years worth of public knowledge, quote unquote.
Yeah. So Sinder says, I lived with Red and his family from the summer of 2022 to the end of February 2025. I've never outright told anyone this, including my closest friends. We wanted to keep at least part of our personal lives private from everyone, even telling some people we lived apart. On stream, I always said I lived with family and friends and streamed in a basement. So I will, I guess, correct myself from earlier. Everything we knew said that she was in a long-distance relationship with him. This says that they did live together. However...
They lived together for a short period of time.
Yeah, but this would have been during the period. It would have been summer 2022 to February 2025, which was like this year.
2022? Yeah, but earlier this year and before the doc came out by a few months.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that
again,
during the time all this was happening, they would have
publicly.
known. They would have been together.
Yeah.
The point I'm making,
they would have.
none of them knew that. So Lily and all them were just lying about it when they said they knew. Because according to Cinder, she was telling people they literally
Cinder
didn't.
said, yeah. Exactly. They were living apart. She was living with family or friends in a basement and streaming from her basement. That was the story everybody, including their friends, were told. So yeah, they didn't know until way later.
Yeah. I find that interesting because, again, it's another one of those things like you were lying about it when you told everybody you knew this. And you guys clearly didn't know this. You had actually been told a different story. Now, the fact that you got it, quote-unquote, got it right is just totally, like, coincidence. I don't think they planned this or knew this deeply.
No, because when Nanolas made their doc, they came out with the, hey, look, this is a lot of screenshots between Redacted and myself, but you guys have to understand that Redacted and Cinder are together, therefore they're the same person. That was what they relied their entire thing upon. So it was important for them to push the narrative that Cinder and Redacted live together because it would bring a stronger argument in favor of their document. Not in any reflection of the facts, even though they happened to be right. They didn't know they were right. They were lying to actually bring more credibility to the document, excuse me.
Yeah. My career, she said the basement part is true. It's where I spent the majority of my time, and it's where I worked and streamed from. My career started there in 2021 with my ASMR. Red was the one with the PC, mic, and experience with content creation since it's always been his hobby. I would go there more and more until I moved in when I became a full-time streamer. For most of my earliest streams with my PNG model, Red would be in the room with me, modding on a laptop and making sure things would run smoothly. He was there as my tech support since at the time I could barely play games, let alone understand how to use and fix OBS if something went wrong. We built my own PC, and I stopped needing him by my side by the time I debuted my first model in June of 2022. He moved his PC into his own room and has worked there since, starting sometime last year. My streams kept disconnecting and we couldn't figure out why. This was going on for months, and no matter what we did, it kept happening. We thought there could be something wrong with the internet there that we couldn't fix. So as a last resort, my parents and I made space for me to move back in with them, with my entire stream set up in February. We were able to fix the problem, but it ended up having nothing to do with the internet at all. I've been working and living here since, separate from Red. The reason why I'm revealing all of this now is because we could have easily gone through each other's DMs whenever we wanted to in those years, but we didn't. It's not like we never showed each other our messages directly. We did all the time, but we didn't comb through each other's DMs at the end of every day to read anything we may have said. And I don't know why anyone who'd say that, and I don't know anyone who'd say that's a normal thing to do. We would just tell each other things that happened, and that was that.
When you justify installing a keylogger on your boyfriend's computer, honestly, it seems normal to me. If you're using that frame of reference.
Yeah, to clarify for anybody in chat that doesn't know the reference, Shy Lily has admitted on stream that she installed a keylogger on a past boyfriend's phone because she was suspicious of him. Which, by the way, don't do that. Very illegal.
Yeah, that is illegal.
But it is something a lot of people have brought up as a joke. That of course Lily thinks Sinder knows everything her boyfriend says. Lily knew everything her boyfriend said because she had a keylogger on his phone.
Yeah.
Anyone who would do that is suspicious. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people were saying that Sinder should be doing is something only like an absolute schizo with trust issues would be doing.
A psycho would, yeah, exactly.
Like, you wouldn't go up to your boyfriend or girlfriend at the end of the day and be like, I'm gonna need to see your phone. I have to read through all the messages you've sent today. Like, that's psycho behavior. You don't trust your partner. You shouldn't be in that relationship.
Attempt to explain it away and excuse it by saying, oh, she was on medication or hormones or some kind of birth control is making her weird. You still did the thing. You still did the... Look, if I'm schizophrenic and I kill somebody, I still broke the law.
Ava immediately going for the big one.
I mean, look, it's something we tend to do. You have to hyperbolize your comparisons so, like, people understand.
Yeah.
Because you have to remove the nuance for it.
Really quick, going down the list. Mama Akko for 5. I'll add I don't like Red being back, but we would never get the nano DMs without him, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I said that.
M2M for 2. I do hope V2... Oh, yeah, I did read that one, too. Nocturnal Wolf for 2. Who do you think is coping hardest on X right now? I need more time to see it. However, I think it's Alara.
Absolutely, Mugen. It's Alara?
Alara made a post today.
I mean, look, Mugen quite literally posted a single sentence, said, you don't need to read the 1,000 pages because of this single sentence. I mean, that's about as big of a fucking coping crash out as I've ever seen.
Alara didn't even read it. She's just like, oh, she thinks that anybody cares to read her 1,000 pages. Like... Okay,
yeah, that is actually worse than Mugen, because Mugen at least read a sentence, okay? We know at least that much. Alara didn't do that.
Festiva for 2, Curse You Elf, announce your appearance on Discord.
Which I just did, by the way.
M2M for 2, as a guy, I don't understand female vindictiveness. Trust me, you never will. JP Ravenfire for 2, hello and head pats. Thank you for the head pats.
Oh, thank you.
And M2M again for 5. Shy Lily seems like an actual orca well. If it does look cute, but it will mess you up if you are not careful because it's a vicious carnivore after all. Just to point out, orca whales...
It's a psychopathic carnivore.
Yeah, just to point out, orca whales are actually extremely abusive in the wild. Like, they will torture seals that they don't even plan to eat just because they think it's funny.
So what they will do to seals and penguins is they will slap them with their tail to get them as high in the air as possible. High enough that the water is pretty much concrete if you hit it, and that's just what they do for fun. They will take and kill a great white shark, not eat any of it except for the liver, and then leave.
Yeah.
Orcas don't give a fuck, okay?
Orcas are what dolphins would be if they were carnivores. I mean, I guess technically all fish are sort of like omnivorous, I guess. I don't know what you'd call it. But yeah, orcas are just what dolphins would be if dolphins were bigger and had sharp teeth. Pretty much.
Yeah, no, 100%, yeah. They're both in the dolphin family. An orca is closer to a dolphin than like a whale.
Also here, just for this, share screen with you just so you can see it actively where I'm at. Would you like to read the working together part for me?
Sure. Can you...
I just screen shared it.
Alright, here we go. Alright, let's see here. Oh, Jesus, hold on, there we go. I had a full screen.
Yeah, fair.
Okay. I'm choosing to have Red continue working with me. He will be doing, Okay, he would be doing most of what he did for me before, but will not be doing any work-related communication for me in any channels I'm not also a part of. I now have access to his Discord account to check on things myself if I need to. It's clear to me that he learned his own lesson from what happened. He made mistakes and I forgave him. I wouldn't be where I am without him, and he's just as much a part of Sinder as I am. He wasn't just a manager that handled some messages, and he had a part in a lot of the things I did. He's always been the main creative mind behind my debuts and other releases too. Even with how involved he was, Red is still his own person, with his own ideas, his own opinions, his own feelings towards people, his own goals, and his own ambitions. Working under the same brand as me, he's always been the business sensible one of us, and the work side of things was always his focus. We worked together on almost everything, but we didn't agree on everything. There have been many businesses or creative decisions we'd argue back and forth about, sometimes taking days to reach a compromise. Red didn't always consult me before making his own choices in his messages with our partners. A lot of the time I agreed with what he did or said, and it was fine. But sometimes I didn't, and we either compromised or I had to walk back what I said. Red didn't tell me about every single interaction he had with people we worked with, and I didn't expect him to. I trusted him. There was never a reason for him to not tell me something important. That was until we disagreed about one of my friends' bow.
Really quick.
Okay.
So something I kind of pick up from this is, and I think a lot of people need to understand this is probably just Cinder being kind of dumb when it comes to business. Because if you're regularly having disagreements with decisions your manager is making, you probably need a new manager. Like, you shouldn't have to babysit your manager. That's kind of the point of the manager. That they babysit you.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Rage.
Like, if every time your manager does something...
I also agree that...
Well, like, you shouldn't agree with everything they do. I wouldn't say that. But you should always be able to see, like, oh, I see why they did that.
It shouldn't take you days to come up with a compromise, though.
Yeah.
I mean, look, a manager-client disagreement should be handled in, at most, a few hours. If it's taking days, that's days that the project is not happening, the debuts are not happening. It's a waste of time and therefore a waste of money.
Yeah, this is, I think, a problem with them being in a relationship and a business relationship. And this is why people say you should keep those separate. Because they can't just tell each other what needs to be said to deal with it.
As Andrew says, stop calling them managers, instead make them assistants. Yeah, that would be a way. Could you scroll up just a bit?
Up or down?
Up. Excuse me, down. God, I'm dumb. There we go, thank you. Okay, at the start of this year, we moved a lot of our work-related conversations with various artists into a project server so everything could be organized into one place. Smart move. I could be included in discussions and decision-making where I needed to be and would be able to see everything being said without having to rely on Red to relay every detail of the things he was handling. This was for organization, convenience, and so I could interact with every person working with me directly. However, this didn't mean that Red didn't still use his DMs to do business, to talk with people we were working with. I mean...
Yes? Do you have thoughts, Ava?
Oh my god, I physically muted my thing. Okay, where the fuck was I?
You literally just started.
If you were to make a server, and everything's supposed to be organized for business relationships and interactions, Red shouldn't then also be using his DMs to do business talk. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. However, this didn't mean Red didn't still use DMs to do business talk to people we were working with. Besides the allegations in Nano's document, no one else we've worked with has ever complained about Red, and we've both worked with dozens of people who I believe would say their experience working with us was nothing but positive. Like I said in my apology, there were things Red didn't tell me about or hid from me, and he did without me knowing in his DMs. They're all shown in this document in the order below. I didn't know about these things beyond what I was told, if I was at all. And I guess these are some bullet points here. Red's inclusion of Bao and Cotton in his exclusivity deal with Nano in January of 2025. Red telling artist number 1 Bao was someone he considered competition while discussing exclusivity the same day as his deal with Nano. Red's conversation with Nano about Shy Lily in April 2025. Red's conversations with Mod number 1 about Silvervale throughout 2024 and into 2025. Red asking artist number 2 about not working with Silvervale in March of 2025. And Red's conversation with artist number 1 about Silvervale in April of 2025, which artist 1 told me about days later. The names of artist 1 and artist 2 and Mod number 1 are hidden to protect their privacy since they weren't directly involved in everything that happened in April. They will be reintroduced later in this document.
So, I feel like a lot of this comes from, again, they're mixing the personal and the business. So Red is kind of personally talking about, like, how he feels about some of these people in business conversations, which is really fucking stupid.
Yeah, and then he'll come out with asking for exclusivity from artists or something, or, hey, can you not do work with Silvervale or whatever. That, you cannot mix your venting, oh, I'm venting to a friend about frustrations to, you know, what marks an actual request to get an artist to stop working with another person you don't represent. Yeah. That is a big no-no, and that is what Nanolist is, this is what Cinderlist is showing, that they were not aware of these particular things, but anything not listed here, they were aware of. So they are accepting responsibility of what they knew, but also defending what they didn't know, which is appropriate.
Yes. That was always my big complaint with this early on, was a lot of people would get upset and be like, how did she not know all of this? It's like, how did she know it? Like, you can't just say, how did you not know what somebody else is doing? That would be my only question, is how the hell could someone know everything? I find this breakdown far more believable because it includes stuff that she admits that she knew about, but it also includes the stuff that she didn't. And I'm sorry, life is long, it's messy, and you don't know everything about everything in your life. You just don't. Exactly. Like, you have to accept that there's 100% at least one thing she doesn't know. And I need somebody who doesn't believe anything she says to look me in the eye and tell me just one thing that you believe she didn't know about. Just one. Like, be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
So then we have Falling Out. The night the first documents were posted, Red was here with me. I ended my stream and he came over to see me while we worked on a few things together. We were still awake when Nano and Bao posted their documents at 2 a.m. EST. I didn't understand what was going on and started panicking. Red tried to explain what happened, but I blew up at him and kicked him out, regrettably refusing his help. We weren't in contact for almost a month after. I had one close friend reach out to me after things were public, and I responded to them sometime after Red was gone. I chose not to include their own message here. That's from Sinder. I am so sorry, White. I'm trying to collect myself. Red and I aren't speaking right now, and I'm so upset with everything. I was distraught, and I posted Red was fired later that morning. I wasn't trying to throw him under the bus and avoid accountability. I was blindsided by my friends publicly pointing the finger at me for his words and actions I didn't even know about and didn't agree with. I didn't know what else to do. In my apology, I said, as of yesterday, he is no longer working with me, and I have not extensively discussed any of this with him. I do have to point this out, because a lot of people thought like this was weird, I guess. But let's go with the belief that Sinder really did kind of just see all of this as just business. You know, the meme, it's just business. She would have still had like some inkling that these people were like at least acquaintances with her. Like, she went on vacations with them. You would still be hurt by it. Like, I have people at my work who I'm not particularly friends with, but if I found out that they were like in some back room talking shit about me, it'd still hurt my feelings.
It would hurt. It absolutely would.
Like, I don't understand these people that's like, well, she shouldn't have cared if she was just business. Well, even if it was just business, I would still care.
What I hate most about that meme is the fact that, like, nobody applies that quote correctly. That was quite literally, like, Cinder belting Nanolist up in DMs going, no, it's fine, you can cancel, it's just business, I'm not hurt about it. Like, And everyone uses it like the opposite. Like Cinder's like, I'm queuing, I'm manipulating all these people because it's just business. That's not what happened. And it's not even what the screenshot shows. People are fucking crazy.
I just think it's funny that people pretended like to not understand that. Like, no, if it was people at your work, it'd probably hurt.
Yeah, if you found out Karen in sales was saying that you were stealing her fucking snacks and now HR is looking into investigating for fucking punishing you for something you never did, you'd probably feel a little betrayed, if not hurt, right?
Yeah, especially if you found out it wasn't just like Karen, it was literally the entire office doing this to you.
Yeah, the sales team came out against you, and you're just quality assurance. And
you're sitting here and you're like we weren't friends, but I thought we were all cool. Like, I don't understand why you're all doing this to me. Like, it's a normal reaction, and I hate that people tried to judge her for having normal human reactions. She's not a robot. Like, yeah, we can sit back and we can sideline quarterback it if we want, but she's still a person. She's not with a corpo. She's not gonna have the best response. Especially when you're doing damage control, like, right in the moment, and you don't have, like, a week or so to think about it, and you're like, I have to fix this now. Yeah, you're gonna fuck up.
Yeah, that's panic, and panic makes you stupid. That's just how it is.
She says here that she will be deleting the tweet where she said that Reddit was not working with her anymore.
Which, yeah, makes sense.
Then we have the my apology and taking accountability. Now that I've reviewed everything that happened and had time to reflect on my own actions, there are some details I need to point out and corrections I need to make from my apology. Then I'll go over the things Red or I or both of us did wrong so we can take responsibility. Each section after this will explain the full story around each major individual involved, anything Red and I did, and defending ourselves against everything we didn't do. Quotes from my apology will be present throughout this document to show what they were in reference to. Screenshots that are directly taken from another document are highlighted with orange. Dates and important messages with any screenshots are highlighted in yellow. Quotes from my apology are highlighted in gray. By the way, the gray thing would probably be a little bit better if the page didn't look like this. Right now, because so many people are viewing this page, Google has put it in like this sort of energy saver mode or something. I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, it's weird.
Normally, page is white, but when too many people start accessing it, they turn it gray for some reason. So this was a completely valid choice when she made the document. It not good in hindsight because of how Google handles this when too many people get on it. And Red's own comments on anything presented are highlighted in blue. This will be consistent throughout the entire document.
Why they didn't have highlighted in red.
True. It would have been helpful. I think because Cinder's red.
Because then you could have had blue as quotes from my apology are highlighted in blue. And, well, I mean, this is just like a user experience criticism. This is formatting shit, right? This is nothing substantive.
Yeah. My apology for reference.
For the words of Jesus.
We will not be reading through her apology. We did that months ago.
We already read it, yeah.
The things I claimed and admitted to in my apology were based on what I knew at the time, what was published in everyone else's documents, and what Red told me after. I shut him out when I shouldn't have. I made my apology without his help, without all of the info in front of me, and without knowing the full scope of what happened, how it happened, or what to believe. I was under extreme stress and pressure to say something as soon as I could, and was expected to accept fault for everything I was accused of, but not guilty of doing. Some of the things I wrote were overly apologetic, and I made things sound worse than they actually were because of the severity of the situation. I will say this, because we had read through her apology before, and a lot of people ignored this part, but a majority of what was in the apology was her saying, Red did this, I didn't know. Which, even with the new context we have, that could still be true for her. Like, that was something that a lot of people just skimmed over. Is she was being... Everybody was like, you need to take accountability for what Red said. And she's like, I didn't know he said it. Or I was like, well, you're clearly just lying because you're dating. Like, well...
Yeah, exactly. It's such a hair splitting like moment. It's like, okay, you clearly don't care for any actual apology or accountability or anything. You want to see blood in the water.
Yeah.
If you are literally nitpicking this kind of fucking on this level, yeah, that's all you want is blood. You don't want what an average person would want. Oh, okay, you did bad and you're taking accountability and you're saying, okay, cool, see you later. That's how I deal with it. These people don't do that.
Yeah. So the main takeaway people had from my apology was that I pushed everything onto Red and didn't take accountability for anything myself. What I blamed Red for in my apology, because he was guilty of doing them, him telling me how great it would be to work together with Silvervale, and him holding a grudge against Bao. What I blamed Red for in my apology, when I was also guilty of it, Red was the one with the business-oriented outlook on things from the start. I adopted that same mindset from working together as time went on. I wrongly made it sound like I was brainwashed into thinking this way in my apology. What Red was guilty of in my apology that I didn't know about until writing in it. Red and Nano talking about a model for Theory in November of 2023. Red including Bao and Cotton in his conversation and eventual deal with Nano around exclusivity in January 2025, and bad-mouthing Bao in their DMs as if they were our shared feelings, and Red talking to Nano and Shy Lily about her model in April of 2025. Things I said about Red in my apology that I was wrong about: he did not manipulate Nano. He did not push Nano to not work with Silvervale, and she was not a constant topic between them.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, so I'm kind of excited for us to get to the Nano part of the document, by the way, chat, because the exclusivity deal got so much messier with the full context of the DMs.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't want to guilt the Lily or anything here, but I'm going to give you guys this much. Nanolist was the first to bring up the idea of exclusivity to Cinder and Red. Not Cinder or Red. They did not approach Nanolist with that. Nanolist approached them.
Yes. And given how Nano has acted in the past, I am currently of the opinion that Nano was trying to shop for exclusivity in hopes she could do less work. Because she was... I don't want to spoil it. We'll get there when we get there. But Nano is definitely the biggest villain in this.
You guys will see what we're talking about. Also, Tenno Law and Safa, welcome to the chat.
Oh, do you know them?
Tenno Law started following me yesterday. Safa just said hi, and I have a tendency to say hi to people.
Oh, no, fair. But welcome, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Again, for people just showing up, we will not be covering everything. We will be covering as much of the Nanolist section as we can. If for some reason we get through it extremely fast, we'll probably continue with some of the other smaller sections. But I highly doubt we're going to get through the Nanolist section before our time is up today. We will cover the rest of it on later days, but we will cover everything. Things I took accountability for in my apology. Agreeing with Red to talk with Nano about exclusivity, agreeing to specifically name Silvervale in the terms, and knowing a deal involving her was made. Guilt-tripping Nano. Feeling overly attached to Nano and her work. Not knowing about what Red had said about Bao and Nano when I should have. Not speaking to Bao about Red's feelings towards her and letting it spiral to the point it did. Being upset and taking it personally when Bao hired my video editor. Being upset when Sacramore told us he wouldn't be working with us again. Confiding in Red about Shy Lily's behavior towards me. Becoming more resentful towards Silvervale. Letting my insecurities and public comments influence my feelings towards Silvervale. Assuming Spite copied me. Being very possessive of my design details early on in my career. Overreacting to Nyantail's Hellhound OC design, which was apologized for in the past. Cheating on my boyfriend. And neglecting or leaving behind friends of mine. So here's where I kind of come into my own sort of issue with everybody else in this, right? So I would look at, for example, the assuming Spite copied me part. I would look at that and say, yeah, you're kind of a cunt for that. However, If you
Yeah.
go to Spite, Spite was doing the same thing, so much worse. And it's not like saying,
no,
oh,
Spite
it's...
really like led a campaign like, oh yeah, no, Cinder copied me when we have like concept art of Cinder's design what they wanted as far back as 2020, 2 years before the actual debut. Cinder had this idea on what they wanted. So I get this and I get taking accountability for you, but goddamn if I am not of the side that I do think Spite tried to copy you and then tried to throw you under the bus so they could be the only hellhound. Maybe I'm wrong, but just from what I've read so far and everything I've seen, that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, so my big issue is, because I would look at this about, yes, Cinder, you're bad for that. But Spite did it too. And I hate that people are just letting one side slide on this.
Yeah, it's kind of clean hands, no clean hands defense, which means like, yeah, no, they did do this, but so did Spite.
Think about like if you
what is most annoying here is all these are things that they did take accountability for. They did apologize for. That was completely discounted by the larger sphere of the community invested in this, right? They're like, oh, they didn't apologize at all. They just shirked responsibility. No, they did. You didn't read.
Yeah. So you kind of end up in this spot where it's like, yeah, I do want to sit here and I want to kind of take Cinder to task for that. But I feel like I can't because you guys aren't going to take anyone else to task for it. Because it is clearly been established through everything we've talked about during this drama that this isn't a Cinder-specific problem. This is actually, quite obviously, in my opinion, an opinion held by everybody at the top. That everybody at the top is looking for copycats and looking for people who copied them.
I mean, a little bit. I mean, you only ever see really bigger VTubers or VTubers that are up and coming out, oh my god, look at this copycat, oh my god, or their fans do it, right? If it's not the VTuber itself, it's their fans policing their fucking Oshi.
Guys, so the Cinder doc is out. How is it complicated or not? I actually don't think it's complicated at all. I think people are just intentionally trying to nitpick sentences out of it to make it seem complicated and contradictory.
They are, look, I mean, again, if you are making a definitive, like, final opinion on this document, literally less than 24 hours after its release, honestly, I can't take you seriously. I have doubts you even read the thing. Yep. Like, we are just now getting to the point from the release where most people would have been able to, if they, on release, did nothing but read this fucking document, they'd be finishing up just about now. If you're a faster reader, maybe you finished 6 hours ago. But again, most people would not be able to get through this quickly.
Yes. I also want to say, because I have gotten to this part in the document personally, this part in particular is very funny in hindsight. So I don't want to spoil it because it's probably going to be another day stream when we get to it. But yes, Cinder is kind of spiteful towards Silvervale. Silvervale kind of threw the first punch in that regard.
A little bit. Just a tiny bit.
Yeah. I think they're both kind of equally being petty bitches to each other. But anybody who's like, oh no, Silvervale never did anything to start this. Oh, she kind of did. She's pretending like she didn't. She kind of did. Also, really quick, thank you for the 10 Nocturnal Wolf. It's actually insane. Cinder posted this, not just during TwitchCon, where Shylily and Bao are, but also while Rima is on holiday again. That's Shakespeare levels of poetic vengeance. I am being told that TwitchCon is not currently
Actually, it's honestly
active.
Very smart. No, it's not. I mean, I know it's next week, but they usually don't. I mean, people might be traveling there and, like, hanging out, checking out the city and stuff before TwitchCon. That's very possible. I do think, though, that Cinder was very smart to release this doc when she did, because it's forcing the people who would love to just knee-jerk react to it. Sorry, you're on vacation. You're at TwitchCon, you're in traveling, you're packing, whatever the fuck you're doing. You have to sit on this and chew on it for a number of days before you can just spout out your nonsense, which I think was very smart for Cinder to frame it and time it this way.
Yeah. 10 Law says Lydia is calling Cinder quite badly in her reaction. So here is kind of where I'm not gonna give people an excuse, but I'm gonna give people an explanation. So a lot of people have already decided Cinder is the bad. And with this document, we are confirming that Cinder is the bad in some ways, which me and Ava have held that opinion since the start. However, Cinder is revealing through screenshots that it is substantially more messy, and there are substantially more bad actors than people would previously believe.
Than just Cinder bad.
Yeah. So, but people
and I will say in response,
can't reconcile that. They have to have a villain.
No, they can't.
So because Cinder was the first bad, and because Cinder is admitting that she was bad in some ways, it is acceptable to them to keep her as the villain in the story. It's that way.
What I particularly dislike about Lydia right now with what they're doing, and I will say this as a warning to all people who like to watch news VTubers and journalist VTubers and stuff like that, use this as a litmus test on whether or not your journalist VTuber is credible or not. Because the only thing that Lydia came out with, again, minutes after, I think it was within the first couple hours, to be fair, but the only thing was, this document says it's been edited, and it's messed up because it's so long and Google Docs is kind of glitching out. That is their reason for saying that, Cinder must be doing something sussy. Okay, if that's your fucking argument, honestly, I cannot take you seriously as a journalist.
Exactly.
I can't. You are doing one of the worst faith arguments because it doesn't require you to read the document. Google Docs says that you edited this, which means you're live editing this, which means you have less than, and you've just excused yourself from actually doing your fucking job while remaining Cinder as the villain. It's pretty gross.
I would also point out that Google's Google Documents live save themselves. So you don't choose to save the document. The document, when you are looking at it, is constantly every couple seconds updating and saving itself. If Cinder was looking at her document and her hand slipped and she hit the space bar, it would do a complete update of the document and say it had been edited. If
she decided to take a paragraph and move it down one line, it would have considered her moving every bit of text below that line, and that would have been considered a lot of edits.
Yeah. They're until less people are looking at this and we can actually see the edit history, we won't know what's changed. It could be absolutely nothing. And it'd be a lot to compare it, but I could compare it because Akko has the saved original version. But this idea that, Google said the document was edited, that means we're doing tons of live edits. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's such a... it's not exactly a slippery slope, but it's in that fucking realm. It's okay, this is for you to make this assumption and then allow that to greenlight all these subsequent assumptions is kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep going with some of these. I admitted to the world that I cheated on my secret boyfriend, and the story pushed was that I took no accountability and used him as the scapegoat. Even with all these concessions of what I did do, I was still somehow a narcissist who couldn't accept fault. I do need to complain for just a second about the other newstubers on that, because a lot of people did read Cinder's document and go, she just blamed everything on Red. Well, no, she took responsibility for some things. She blamed Red for stuff that we really only have proof of Red doing. The fact that it was blamed on her to start with is kind of wild.
She took responsibility for what Red did and said it should have been her job, but she didn't know. She was not excusing her accountability or responsibility of what she believes she should have known, but she is stating that, hey, I don't like this has happened, I'm so sorry, but I didn't know it was happening. That is not shirking responsibility. That's not passing the buck, and I don't know why these news VTubers read it and decided to come to that conclusion.
Yeah. What I did not admit to, what I didn't What I did was not admit to, quote, the right things, unquote. The people making these claims already decided I was guilty of. They also expected me to apologize for everything I've ever done without any of it ever being mentioned, even if the matter was already settled in the past. Shy Lily actually did say that on her stream. She's like, well, why didn't you apologize for this thing that we already had an intervention over months ago? Like, I think you kind of just said it. You already talked about it months ago.
Yeah, there you go.
Which, again, a lot of newstubers would know this stuff if they actually read things instead of just picking a side and skimming shit. I still hate all of you.
This is kind of my bigger issue, too. VTubers and content creators need to come to the conclusion it's okay to admit where you're wrong, to admit fault, and to apologize. At the same time, honestly, viewers, honestly, chat, you know the ones I'm talking about, not you guys, but the crazy ones, you need to learn to accept an apology. It's just that. You ask for more and more and more. I feel like, honestly, some of these people could literally crucify themselves, and it still wouldn't be enough for some people.
Yeah. 10M Law, Lydia is continuously calling Sinder a backtracker. Not to, like, hate on Lydia. Specifically, though, I hate that people kind of use backtracking as, like, a get-out-of-jail-free card for not engaging with a discussion. Because if you go down the wrong trail, you need to backtrack. Like, sometimes you just have to backtrack. You say the wrong thing. You go down the wrong line of reasoning. You misunderstand your own argument.
Honestly, in my opinion, so long as it's done, like, correctly and not, like, maliciously or, like, subversive, like, you're subverting fucking something. If you go, hey, you know what, I said this and I was kind of wrong on that, let me take that back a bit. That, honestly, is going to give you 100 brownie points from me, because it takes much more character to admit where you were at fault and make that correction than it is to just ignore it like you never made that, that mistake.
Yeah. Thank you for the follow, Almighty Goat Man. But yeah, so I think backtracking is perfectly acceptable when you tell people you're backtracking, which Sinder has done. Backtracking only becomes a problem when you're trying to cover up the fact that you're walking it back. And you're like, no, I always had this
your
opinion.
Methodology, that makes it bad.
Yeah, a common thing to say is, I'm just clarifying my position. You know? It's like, no, you're not clarifying, you're walking it back. That's actually a perfect phrase to see someone. If you hear that, oh, I'm just clarifying my position. No, you're kind of a dick for doing that. Yeah. Akakun for 5, can't stay because work, but yeah, how people reacted to this situation is a huge litmus test for the entire industry. I think it is. Personally, anybody who replied within 5 minutes to say it was a fake immediately loses their NewsTuber license. You are not allowed to have an opinion on anything news.
I mean, like, honestly, one of my big things here is this does show, like, whether or not you think Sarah comes out better or worse for an analyst, better or it doesn't matter. This just shows me how many people in the VTuber sphere need legal counsel.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just to have somebody on retainer or a consultant on retainer, somebody to run this shit by so this doesn't come out, blow up in public, and become a fucking nuclear bomb where it was a firecracker before. Now it's a nuclear bomb. Why? Because you didn't have a lawyer come in and go, yeah, you should probably stop that.
Yeah. Also, Farmer Jack says, I fucked up, covers a multitude of sins. This is something that really annoys me when people are like, why didn't she address every little thing? Have you ever talked to a friend and your friend did something bad and they're apologizing to you? Typically, the normal human reaction is not to explain in detail every little thing you got wrong. It's to say, yeah, sorry, dude, I fucked up. That's how a normal person talks.
Honestly, I've literally had those words spoken to me when getting an apology for somebody. Somebody, yeah, no, I fucked up. We don't talk about what happened that is requiring an apology because we don't need that because we know it. So her saying I fucked up, yes. Guys, guess what? That's taking accountability, and yes, it does cover a multitude of sins.
Yeah, like that's just, especially because supposedly she's talking to friends.
An itemized list of every fucking thing that she's contrite for. Honestly, you're a psychopath and you should fucking leave.
Yeah. At that point, you're just trying. You want her to be embarrassed and ashamed. You don't actually want like a solution.
You want ammo so you can continue because that's the only thing. What are you apologizing for?
Yeah.
Because I need to know the things that you're apologizing for so I can hold on to them and I can bring them anytime I want to attack you. That's the real reason why you would want an itemized list of what someone's apologizing for.
Yeah. Also, I do want to say this, chat. I want to kind of throw it out there because it kind of came up the other day. Personally, I believe almost all Google documents are invalid in that they don't need to be made.
Just about, yeah.
I read them because I find it interesting. It's gossip. Like, it's reality of, like, the little old ladies sitting around a table talking about if they think the guy down a couple blocks down is cheating on his wife. Realistically, their conversation doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be public, and it doesn't need to be spread to people. They don't talk about it for that reason. They talk about it because it's interesting, and they just want to like discuss something.
That's what's going on. Look, I'll tell you right now. I used to live in this little small town. This town in Virginia was off the Chesapeake Bay. It was when I was living on my sailboat, and it had a population of 500. Very sleepy town, very much gossip, old girls kind of thing, right? I remember talking with a group of them who are just hanging out on the porch, and I was talking about the marina across the creek. Now, this guy was pretty much the best marina in the area, and he put a lot of work into it and everything. And so I'm like, I wonder how he makes that work, because marina owning is very difficult. And I'm like, oh, well, he smuggles drugs to the Chesapeake in order to pay for his marina.
Did you help him?
They're making a story to make their boring life a little bit more interesting. Yeah, no, we started just building on the story. I'm like, yeah, actually, I run drugs for him. You know, we have a CEO. We just fucking, again, shooting the shit, making a fucking crazy, wildly unbelievable story that is remained the confines of that yard. We didn't go on Facebook and post that, right?
Yeah. Remind me later.
No, we didn't, because it's old people shooting the shit.
Remind me later after stream and after you get back from whatever you have to do that I have this exact same situation you're talking about, except in an actual song on YouTube that's got like a couple million views on it. Which you wouldn't know if you didn't watch the creator's like page, but he has an interview where somebody asks him the inspiration for the song, and he's like, yeah, I was walking through the park and I saw this old man sitting on a bench, and in my head I came up with all of these ways in his life that he ended up to the point that he's sitting on this bench in front of me in the park. And
yeah, no, there's actually a funny quote from Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they're sitting in like a holding place that they decided to visit the boardwalk in I think it was the Jersey Shore. That's right. They go to the Jersey Shore. They're sitting there, and both Dee and Dennis are talking, like crafting this entire life about this junkie burnout that's across the way from her. And like, yeah, they probably got into coke because they loved how it feels, and then they're neglecting their kid, and like literally, they're just going into this whole fucking detail. And she goes, "You know, I can hear you, right?" And like, "Oh no, we didn't mean any of it as like that. We're just, we're just talking." And she's like, "No offense, you actually weren't that far off." But that's the kind of thing we're talking about. It's like gossip, fucking just. It's an imaginative fucking writing class almost, and to take that aspect and then put it online and put it in the form of actual accusations that's where you've crossed the line, and that's where like, no, you're no longer just an innocent party having fun with some bystander. No, this is targeted, this is malicious, and this is disgusting.
I'm gonna get like one sentence into this and I'm gonna stop again. Because I understand the things my manager did that I did not know about are ultimately my responsibility, and my ignorance doesn't change that. It is legally your responsibility. However, I've said this from the start, I do not necessarily think you can morally put that on somebody. Like, we make that a legal responsibility for you.
You are responsible for your assistant or representative, your manager, sure. But morally, it's very difficult to get there because, again, if you didn't know what was happening, how the fuck could you respond to it, make right of it, do anything other than after the fact and after you found out?
Yes. And even then, you are legally on the hook for it, not because we accept as a society that you know, but that we accept as a society that somebody has to pay for it. And, you know, pardon my French, but shit rolls uphill. So,
yeah, it does.
So whoever is at the top needs to pay for anybody under them doing fucked shit, you know, in the process of their name. But I hate when people are like, well, that means morally we can put you on the cross for this. And I don't think you can. That's never been a thing with society that we're like, oh yeah, morally it's the manager's fault. No, legally it's the manager's fault because they're the manager. Morally, the manager didn't do shit. Manager's fault. And I just hate that people won't accept that, like, morally you can't really put that on her. This is kind of a legal thing, and based on kind of what we've seen lately, I don't even think you can legally put it on her. I don't think he legally did anything wrong. He was approached. He was approached for it on the legal part.
Yeah. Life update. Lydia found a sorry in page 10. Okay, so the apologies, and she complained about it. Wait, said, okay, whatever. I don't even. Okay, Jesus Christ, people.
I've seen actually a couple people do that and posting tweets like that. They're nitpicking
like,
every little thing.
Oh my god, I can't believe Cinder's not apologizing. How dare Cinder apologize?
Yeah.
Are you okay? Do you need help?
I should have taken more care to check up on what he was saying and doing, but I was being blamed publicly for things I had nothing to do with. Again, this is a thing I think is a problem because he's a boyfriend and a manager. Because if it's with a boyfriend, trying to see everything they're doing is kind of abusive and controlling. But with a manager, you kind of do need to see everything they're doing because you need to make sure.
You're obligated to.
Again, this is why you do not mix business and personal, because it ultimately it's hard to do the stuff you need to do for business when you have a personal relationship like that with the person. You have to treat them differently.
Yeah.
My accusers went out of their way to claim Cinder did this and Cinder did that, completely disregarding Red's agency from any of his own words and actions. The proof I must have known about everything he's ever said and done was because they said we worked on things together on our phones during the few times a year we were traveling. And Nano's document showed 2 of my screenshots from over a year apart from separate situations where I knew more or less what had happened between her and Red. There was no other evidence presented for their claim, but they told everyone it absolutely had to be this way. Emphasis was placed on Red's usage of we and our, as if they could know for a fact it meant Red was always speaking with me with my knowledge, approval, and oversight every single time he said it. This was necessary for their narrative to work against me. I agree with her calling that out.
I will say, yeah, no, exactly. Because any manager, look, if my manager is talking on my behalf about making a music piece with a composer or something like that, I expect him to use, when talking about himself and me, Eva Elfpire, you know, the intellectual property, he should be saying we, our, in other words. If anything, yeah, I would like that for Eva. That is okay too, right? But again, you need to have this kind of vernacular as a manager speaking with other people.
Yeah. This is what I said in my apology about this. Quote, I do not condone anything about what Red said about Bao in these DMs either, and him using we and our in this context is abhorrently incorrect, and I believe was done to gain greater credibility beyond what he was saying. So Red replies in here, I've always been more or less the, quote, creative lead on things we did, like model designs, project ideas, and art in general, and Cinder often agreed with my creative judgment. She trusted me to do the communication I did for her without oversight. For example, a lot of times I would be the one talking to the artist, and we'd be working with who only knew me as Cinder's manager. If I knew the direction I wanted to take something with or without talking to Cinder beforehand, and I said, I want this art to be like this, instead of Cinder wants this art to be like this, then it felt like an awkward thing for me to say in my mind to the person we're working with. I'm just the manager, not the creator, not the streamer, not their client. What I myself wanted wasn't important. What Sinder wanted was. So in order to give weight to what I would say, I started using we early on without speaking for her directly, saying, Sinder, if we wanted to do something a certain way, then it'd give me agency by implying we both agreed on and made the decision, that Sinder was aware of the decision being made, regardless of if she actually was or wasn't at the time, and that my words had meaning. I was speaking on we, the brand's, behalf. It became a habit of mine to talk this way regarding any projects or business dealing. I didn't start doing this because anyone told me I should be. That just, he worded that weird. I didn't speak like this all the time or in every single message. It's not like Sinder never knew about what I was saying when saying we. If afterwards she did agree with me on something, then didn't agree with me on something, I have to walk back what I said and say that Sinder actually wants it this way. Very often, Sinder was on the same page as me beforehand or would agree with what I said without her knowledge, using we afterwards. In the case of the exclusivity deal with Nano, I used we when talking about Bao, so it seemed like Sinder also backed how I felt. Sinder not only wasn't aware of this, but I knew she didn't agree with me about what I was saying. In our conversation, Nano said herself that she was...
big no-no.
Yeah. In our conversation, Nano said herself that she was not really down with working with people who Sinder didn't want her to. So I made sure to tell Nano how, quote, we felt, expressing my own feelings to her as if they were both of ours. This will all be shown in Nano's section. Dude, this is a massive bad on Red's part.
Yeah.
Huge problem.
And again, it amounts to an experience. You know, I imagine Red's only experience with managing a content creator this size is quite literally this one. This was his kickoff, and yeah, this is all a bunch of stuff that, yeah, they're mistakes, but they're big mistakes for a manager to make.
Yes.
So I'm glad they're being admitted to here.
Thank you for the 5, Girthy Banana. Nowhere to hide, give me fries, Sinder, in 5. May those who spit vicious slander on Sinder get the karma they justly deserve. I don't wish hate on anyone. I'm a good puddle.
That sounded like he misrepresented his clan and admitted to it. That is exactly what happened and why I have a problem with this statement. This would, look, that in and of itself is enough to, like, for me to separate the business and personal relationship with Red if I was Sinder. Again, her choice, but that's a pretty big no-no. That's like an instant fireable no-no to do that.
Yes, which I believe Red has been separated from a lot of that stuff now.
Yeah, he has.
Like, they're still relationship partners, but she's since been separated from certain things, so.
I know that he's not handling, well, yeah, we could TV on.
Are you good, Ava?
In regards to, yeah, I'm good. In regards to Red's involvement, it seems it's going to be much more transparent on the business side, which is, okay, cool. You know, he fucked up big enough. Okay, you clearly need oversight. Honestly, Sinder, you fucked up by not giving him oversight because he was her boyfriend. And I imagine going forward, these mistakes are actively being, you know, defended and protected against from happening again.
Yeah. So there are 3 things in my apology I need to correct that will be shown in full detail in this document. I left out a lot of information regarding my experience with Silvervale in trying to overly apologize to her and ended up making things sound much worse than what really happened. I lied about not knowing that Red spoke to Nano about Spite in 2023 to not make things worse for myself by revealing more than Nano or Spite did about what happened regarding her. And I was wrong about which year the situation with Nyantails took place in. I wrote that it was after my debut, but it was actually an entire year earlier.
Okay.
My apology and accusations made against me did not cover everything Red and I have done wrong. I've laid out everything below that would be presented throughout this document so we can address them and take responsibility. Explaining the motives and reasoning behind our actions are not meant to justify or diminish them or the feelings of those affected, but to understand why they happened. How would you like to read the bullet points for us, Ava?
Sure. And yes, guys, my my voice noise cancellation doesn't like coughing or yawning. If I do it, it's gonna sound weird. I'm sorry. All right, here we go. Everything one of us or both of us are guilty of, the accountability is taken for and is shown as document in the order they're presented in. We both became neglectful of many friendships and personal relationships online and in real life. Red and I became consumed by our work and prioritized my career over everything else. Red considered everyone, including our friends, competition. And I agreed. Red and I left Tricky at our hotel in Tokyo one day during our Japan trip in October of 2024. Ooh, okay. I chose to distance myself from Cotton after what happened between her and a friend. I tried going back on my agreement with the artist Nextiu in April of 2025. Red asked Nano to not work with Spite in January of 2023 and told me about it afterwards. I lied about not knowing he spoke to her about Spite in my apology to avoid talking about it. Red initially dissuaded Nano from accepting a model from Giri in November of 2023. I guilt-tripped Nano in November 2023 and February 2025, but still sided with her. Red reassured Nano about her considering and canceling Bao models in August of 2024. I knew Bao's model was cancelled in August of 2024 and didn't try to do anything about it. You couldn't have done much about it, but okay. Red and I agreed to talk with Nano about exclusivity, including not to work with Silverveil, specifically on any more models in January 2025. Red and Nano agreed to a deal for her not to work with Silver, Bao, or Cotton in January 2025, only telling me about Silverveil's inclusion. Red spoke to Nano about Shy Lily in April 2025 after seeing Nano work on a model for her and never told me about this conversation. We asked our video editor about exclusivity after Bao started working with them in September of 2023. Red convinced himself Baogate kept her video editor to hurt our future music video projects in December 2024, then held a grudge and a list of grievances against her. I didn't speak to Bao to clear things up about when I knew Red held against her, and it led to me being an awful friend to her for months at the start of 2025. Both Red and I mismanaged the planning and communication with Nomi about her concert at the start of February of 2025. I pulled out of her at a performing in her show, and almost didn't go after choosing business over my friend. We both grew to dislike Silverveil over the past few years for various reasons, including harassment and comparisons, my own insecurities, and how Silverveil acted towards me. Red asked an artist not to work with Silverveil in March 2025 and never told me about it. Red and I assumed Spite was copying me in 2022 and early 2023, and I overreacted to Niantail's Hellhound OC design in 2021.
Yeah, so some of this we will touch on today, I believe. Some of it doesn't matter.
But I they're doing a cards on the table thing for those who. I'm gonna bring it up in the best way that I can. If you remember being a kid, particularly at like a teenager or something, and you had to something came out with your mom and your dad, and it was a big thing that you'd been hiding from them. Do you ever remember, like, you start coming out with everything because the truth is out now, and going with the truth is kind of cathartic? So yeah, I was doing this, and I've been joyriding your car for like 3 months. Like, my sister and my family members have literally done this kind of thing before, where like, okay, you got caught dyeing your hair, and you just admitted to so much stuff, just riding off of the cathartic high that telling the truth will get somebody. And I think that's kind of what this is.
Yeah. Every claim of wrongdoing that was made against Red or I that isn't listed above is not true. Whether it was an assumption or a lie in someone's document, statement about me, or verbally on stream. I would list the false accusations here, but there's been such a ridiculous amount at this point that I don't even know where to start. I will let this document speak for itself. These actions were not over the years like the public was told. The majority of these actions happened in an 8-month span from August of 2024 to April of 2025. How each person was affected, if they were affected at all, is explained through this document. Nothing was black and white, and none of these actions are motivated by jealousy, envy, greed, or being malicious for the sake of it. My friends, It's been falsely claimed that I was using, manipulating, sabotaging, betraying, and backstabbing all of my friends for years in an effort to deplatform them and ruin their careers. By the way, I want to address this, even though me and Ava have addressed it in the past. The claim that she was deplatforming anybody was false on its face from day one. Like, you could, assuming everything that was said about her was true, Sinder convincing her personal artist that she works with all the time to not make a model for you is not deplatforming you.
That's not, no. Deplatforming is a public effort to remove somebody's content and ability to post content on a specific platform, be it YouTube, Twitch. You can be deplatformed in real life, you know, if you're at a speaking event at a university and you say something dumb enough, they can deplatform you.
Yeah.
That as in take you off of the fucking event line and stuff like that. Like, deplatforming has a very specific definition of which their accusations have never fell in line with.
Yeah. Like, you could argue that she's being a bitch and getting an artist not to work with you. But this idea that you're being deplatformed by her, you were just trying to coat right off all the people talking about free speech at the time. That's the only reason
Alex
you said
Jones
that.
was deplatformed, yes.
Yeah.
Although he replatformed himself with his new show, but still, that did happen.
There was never some kind of years-long grand conspiracy of deceit against anyone. I have never pushed the ladder down behind me. I have never been jealous or envious of any of my friends or anyone else. My friends were not stepping stones I used to further myself. I loved my friends. Our experiences together were real. Our memories together are real. It hurts that I even need to say that here. There are plenty of things my friends know I've done for them, helped them with, or included them in, for no other reason than they were my best friends. I've always answered their questions and offered them advice when they asked, done my best to be there and support them at their debuts with their own endeavors, and I personally brought so much of their merch for myself without ever saying so. I literally brought brownies my mom made across the country to share with them. I spent my own time making one-of-a-kind cosplay pieces of their VTubers for them for no other reason than they were my friends. More than the 3 finished pieces below were planned for more of my friends, including Bao, before I put all of my crafting focus into my Nihilister cosplay. It meant a lot to me that I could make things that meant a lot to them. And these are just little things she was making for them. Oh yeah, it looks nice.
That is a nice knife.
I like this this like little headpiece thing going on as well.
Yeah.
And like you could see this, I guess, as like a little bit of an emotional manipulation, maybe. But this is like physical items she has put time and effort into building for people. I kind of feel like that does.
People don't do this kind of stuff for people that they want to be deplatformed, okay? They don't do this kind of stuff for anybody else but somebody that, for whatever reason, they consider them a friend. Like, I wouldn't even put this kind of work into something that was for a person who I knew could get me more views, but wasn't a friend to me. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that to that person. I would only do this and create these kind of things, these gifts, for a friend.
Yeah. Like, this is actual stuff she sat down and put real work into. At some point, you have to be like, okay, maybe she did actually care about them on some level. You know? I don't know what they think I did against them other than what I listed above, or where these ideas came from, or what rumors they were hearing about me, or how my friends collectively agreed this must have been the case after everything we've done and shared with each other. I absolutely could have been a much better friend, but I just can't believe every single one of them thought this little of me at a moment's notice. There were about a dozen of my friends involved before Nano's document was posted, and still not one of them said anything to me before they were posted publicly. That's something we called out in the original documents. It was really weird that all of these people were, according to themselves, were super close friends with Sinder, and they were just deeply hurt by what she did. Not a single one of them messaged her. And this isn't just like Sinder claiming this, they admitted it in their original documents. Some of them blocked her during the period this was happening. Nobody talked to her. Not one. I have seen people who get outed as genuine predators have their ex-friends give them more of a fair shake. And be like, send them a message and be like,
100%, yeah.
hey, dude, please tell me you didn't say this. Please tell me you didn't do this. You know, and that's the extreme.
I remember Shy Lily, when talking about it on stream, said, first of all, she tried to lie and say that, oh, we tried to contact, and then she fucking backtracked that and said, oh, well, no, I always knew that Sinder was trouble from the start, and so I didn't bother contacting her.
Yeah. Like, it's just wild to me that it literally happened like a month ago. Somebody got outed as a predator, and they posted a picture of their friend messaging them something like, please tell me you didn't do it. That was more good faith than fucking Sinder got. And that person got outed diddling kids.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly.
You people were not her friend. I don't believe it. I think she believed you were her friend. I don't think you believed she was yours.
Yeah, exactly.
One of you would have messaged her. Somebody would have.
I mean, look, you can't tell me this doesn't fucking follow the plot of Mean Girls in a very weird fucking way.
That's just all female relationships.
I mean, okay, sure, but I can't admit to that because then it'll make us look bad.
A lot of my friendships did suffer due to where my priorities have been, especially over the course of 2024. But of my focus being overwhelmingly on work and less on my personal relationships outside of it, I neglected people I care about, and so did Red, both online and IRL. Even my closest friends, unless it was about work, I didn't put much energy into just talking or hanging out, but that's not to say I never did, never wanted to, or disliked them for any reason. I had my feelings going on, and I know they had theirs. When I wasn't streaming or working on something, I'd be isolating or hanging out with Red to decompress, and I didn't have the energy to socialize. I tried to plan collabs with my friends as often as I could, and it was a way to hang out while still appeasing my content brain. My collabs with my friends were made into YouTube videos, but to say that I was using them for that, as if countless other VTubers don't do the same thing, is crazy. When I was traveling to see my friends, all I wanted to do was hang out and spend as much time together as I could, and it was the happiest I was. Red and I always loved, valued, looked out for, and appreciated our friends, even if we didn't show it as often as we should have. I'm sorry to those of my friends who I haven't given the time they gave me. I'm sorry for those I haven't spoken to in a long time for no other reason than my own negligence. And I'm sorry to my friends that I only focused on work and didn't spend enough time being your friend outside of it. I actually...
Yeah, I can kind of get this one, and I'm gonna tell everybody right now, if you collab with me or reach out with me, seriously, I'm a hermit of an introvert, okay? I will never reach out to you. It's not because I don't like you, it's not because I don't view us as friends, it's because my brain doesn't work that way. I'm only here because Miz is the one who came up with the idea of autism, okay? He dragged me along, and I'm more than happy to be along with it, but I would have never had that thought myself. So sometimes there's those of us there that I'm sorry. You extroverts have to adopt us introverts for us to have a hope at a social life.
That, and I do also have to point out that Sinder and all these other girls are really, really getting into the business, and they're kind of getting, you know, into their 30s now, right? I'm not saying your life is over when you're 30, that's true. But when you get to 30, you do start...
I am. You're a hag when you're 30.
When you get to, like, your 30s, you do start, like, losing touch with some friends, and it's not because you don't like them, it's not because you value business over your friendships. Life is busy. Everybody's busy. Everybody's got something going on. Like, this idea that she's just a piece of shit because she didn't contact all of her friends when she's doing all this extra work stuff. She's just busy. It happens. This was...
And here's the thing, too. It snowballs. When you're busy like this, you don't reach out to a friend or something, and then you realize it, and you go to, and you've got, God damn it, it's been fucking 2 months. They're just gonna be mad at me. I'm not gonna do it. And now you've snowballed and made it worse, and it's nothing to do with a friend. It's all in our own head as an introvert.
Yeah. Like, this used to be a common message in, like, kids' cartoons years ago, was that as you got older, sometimes you would grow away from your friends. Not because of anything any of you did, but because life just caught up with you. And it's wild that so many of the documents against her were like, well, she hasn't contacted me in a while, so she's a piece of shit. Did you guys just not grow up? Like, ever? Are you still in, like, the middle school, elementary school mindset where if a friend stops talking to you, it's got to be a war? Some people just grow apart. It happens. Yeah. Sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes it's just life.
Sorry, I just saw you got a super chat from Artamos.
Yep. For 5, no one would willingly associate with a bald-hating individual like Ava Elfpire.
Look, I don't hate bald people. I am, however, surprised by them. So yes, my exclamation last autism was, "Oh my god, he's bald," but that was not like anger. That was just surprise, I promise.
My dad considers all his friends despite not seeing them for decades. That's more of a guy thing, though. Like, I've noticed with women that after a certain amount of time, if they haven't had contact, they consider themselves like active villains to each other. With guys, if I had like one of my guy friends from high school who I have not talked to since high school send me a message on Facebook tomorrow, I'd be like, "Hey dude, what's up? I've missed you."
Yeah, that's true.
There would be no other conversation like, "Why haven't you messaged me? I don't understand. Why haven't you talked to me?" Like, hey.
I will say, any of my guy friends, like I've gone a long period of time without talking to, it is just that. It's like, oh, hey, it's been a while or been a minute, right? Not with female friends, let me tell you.
Yeah. Guys typically have like very large webs of friends, and whenever they find time, they just spend time with that person. It's not necessarily like a planned thing a lot of the time. The business mindset. Red and I slowly became more closed off and neglectful of people over the past couple years, but especially throughout 2024. Focusing more and more of our time and energy on this career, work became almost 24/7 for us, never taking a break. It was our job, our hobby, and almost all we talked about. We loved what we did, but we both became consumed by the content grind. Our work-life balance became non-existent. We were going and going and going all day, every day as a 2-person team, working to an obsessive degree. We were always trying to do more with more people all the time. Everything became about doing bigger things, achieving more, accomplishing more, growing bigger, launching more cool things, having more opportunities, while keeping up with at least 4 to 5 streams a week. Our problem wasn't greed like it was claimed, it was ambition. Ambition that was wearing us too thin to keep up with everything, but it was never enough to take a step back and relax. We were always looking ahead, always just had to be progressing, and never stopped to appreciate where we were or the people around us. The money was nice, but it's never been the driving factor for anything we did. It was an indicator of a successful project, event, or merch drop that anyone understood. The majority of what I've made and spent went back into my work or towards the house my dad has been building. I've released a lot of merch, and it's something that Red and I have been passionate about. Coming up with and releasing cool new merch products is one of the most fun and fulfilling things to work on, and being on new projects like a drink flavor or trading card game was super exciting to us. It was always about launching cool things for my community over the money it made. I've turned down merchandise opportunities and many more sponsorship opportunities than I've accepted, only taking on those I really wanted or had a strong interest in. Even though a lot of them were paying very well, being greedy, money-hungry person has been falsely projected onto me. It's never been all about the money for either of us. As a side note, I have seen some people talking about these sections on Twitter, like, why is she talking about this? Well, because everybody made it like such a big point in the callouts. And it's kind of annoying me that people keep asking, like, why is Sinder talking about this? Why is Sinder talking about this? Because you all made it a point of debate. You can't bring it up.
Yeah, that's
and then when she addresses it, be like, well, you shouldn't have addressed it. You brought it up. Was it a problem or wasn't it? If she shouldn't address it because it's not a problem, You should have never brought it up, and you're admitting you brought up a non-issue for no reason. You can't have it both ways, and it annoys me that people don't like see that.
It's honestly like that scene from Depp v. Heard, where on cross-examination of Johnny Depp, an attorney asks a question, he starts to answer it, and he realizes that he fucked up with the question, and he objects to his own objection as to hearsay. And the judge is even like, you asked the question, you can't object to your own question, what the fuck? That's pretty much that's the document equivalent of what's happening here. You're mad at her for bringing it up, but you're the one who actually opened the door. They are required to respond to it. If you didn't want it brought up, you shouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah. It's annoying. One instance I may be called out for regarding this was during my Heaven Hound model debut. During my lore video, I had an intermission where my chat needs to fill a goal bar on screen with bits to progress the video. It was the easiest way for me to implement interactivity into the debut, and my chat having direct involvement by cheering me on was important to the story being shown. The motivation wasn't to have people give me money for the sake of it. I am actually going to disagree with kind of everybody on this point. It is perfectly fine to try and get money for the sake of it when you are a streamer. That is kind of the only reason we're given money. Like when people give me super chats and I read them.
People don't understand.
Like you're giving me money because you like me.
Because of Mizu.
Yeah.
Because he fucking went, oh yeah, here you go. And I wouldn't have had that if I hadn't freaking accepted it and whatever. But no, when you have an opportunity to get some money through anything content creation related, take it. Absolutely fucking take it.
Yeah. Like people kept trying to call out for this. It's like almost all of streaming, especially early on, is just being given money for the sake of it. Like, yeah, we try and come up with ways to have interactivity, which is why I kind of stole the head pat thing from Ava, so like you guys could ask for something, right? I really wish YouTube had more of the interactivity with bits, YouTube has more of the interactivity with bits and stuff like Twitch does.
Innovation and interactivity is fucking far ahead. Everything that I've done for head pats or for anything is basically me trying to emulate what Twitch has integrated by default.
Yeah, like we try and come up with ways for interactivity, but the reality is some sites just don't have it. And so we're just like, okay, well, just give me money because you like me, you like my content kind of thing. Donate if you can, don't donate if you can't. Fine.
I had to stop somebody from donating yesterday.
Oh,
They're literally, I can't afford this, but they wanted to pull somebody in the membership gifting thing. I'm like, I can't afford this, but here, I'm like, no, don't you fucking dare. If your first words are, I can't afford this, and then you donate, I swear to God, I'll find a way to return the money to you.
Yeah. If that were true, every VTuber would turn off bits, but somehow that's a problem for him. Yeah, like, if you really did not want money for the sake of it, you would turn off super chats, you would turn off super things, you would turn off bits, you would turn off donations.
You turn off stickers.
You would only allow, like redeems on Twitch, and you would only allow merch sales, but you don't, because everybody knows that money. You just want to make money. It's fine. It's okay to admit that you want to make money, and it doesn't make you like.
No. Look, I don't want to encourage pay pigging if it's at your own detriment. That's just fucking dangerous and stupid. And it makes me feel bad as a content creator that you're willing to hurt yourself to support me, and I'm not going to support that.
Yeah. A big part of Sinder's moderation team walked out on her when this all started. If nothing else, Sinder's community has been purged of bad actors. Like, I am all for people kind of going away from this situation with their own thoughts. However, I also believe some people's thoughts are really stupid and they haven't actually thought anything through. Like, realistically. And maybe that's mean of me, but some people I think are just so stupid. The mindset got myself and my career to where it was, but it took over our lives to an unhealthy degree, leading to the deterioration of our health and relationships with people. Being canceled and away from work gave us the time to address this problem in our personal lives. For example, I have my own dog now, who's been keeping me busy. I have gotten back into cosplay after not working on my Nihilister build for months. I've been trying to lead a healthier lifestyle, and I've been going to the gym regularly despite finding it difficult to be motivated about things since April. Been making changes so I don't fall back into the same unhealthy work mindset I was in. Competition. In my apology, I said, quote, I am disgusted with myself for buying into the narrative that my friends were competition. I just learned about all this myself, and there could have been so many other friends affected by the narrative that things had always had to be competitive. Red always considered everyone our competition, including my friends. I understood and agreed with his reasoning below. It didn't change anything between my friends and I didn't treat them as any differently because of it. The only person I became directly competitive against was Silvervale, and that wasn't right of me. So I would like to point out a couple of... Like, a couple of NewsTubers have highlighted this part and said, see, this is her admitting that she saw her friends as, like, something to put down. There's two types of competition.
Which it's not. I'm sorry.
And it's clear Sinder is referring to kind of the archetype of the rivalry with this one, where you and your rival kind of constantly elevate each other. Not necessarily you're trying to tear each other down.
I mean, look, and maybe this is just because my background in law, but I don't hate the guts of opposing counsel because they're against me on my case, right? No, very often you would have lunch, you would socialize with people who are against you in court, but it's literally competition in the strictest sense of the word legally, and it's not personal. It's not anything about, oh, you're not my friend because you took a opposing stance from me. No, it's expected in that sphere, and honestly, in content creation and in VTuber, it should be considered an adversarial system. Guess what? Mizu is my competition. Oko is my competition. Now, am I a competitive person? No. So you're not gonna see me competing. But it is a factual statement that other VTubers in my growth sphere are my competition. That's just objectively true.
Yeah. And I would, because this was a big thing on YouTube, a big discussion for a long time, is that there is no competition among YouTubers because you can always just watch a video. Like, there's infinite numbers of the videos, and you don't have to spend money on it, so technically people aren't spending on it. But it took forever to make people understand this. Time is a currency. And the reality is people can't sit and watch every single piece of content I make all day, every day. That's kind of the reality.
No.
And if they can't do it for just one person, they can't do it for every VTuber. If there was, in order for there to be no competition, someone should be able to tell me that they can watch every single VTuber in a day. And they can't. Because there is a time limit to it.
Look at Vegeta and Goku. Look at fucking Naruto and Sasuke. Look at any major rivalry that's also a friendship. They're competitive with each other, but it's not toxic. And that's really the line you have to establish yourself and recognize, okay, you know what? I'm getting a bit too ambitious and a bit too competitive, and it's starting to toxify my friendship with this person. It's up to you to determine when that's happening.
Yeah, and chat mentions to end competitive, everything would have to be forever collabs. Yeah, like there has to be some competition, just in how life works, and it's how you respond to that competition that matters more. But it does kind of get on my nerves when people are like, oh no, competition doesn't exist. No, it does. Inherently it does. That's life. I'm sorry.
Naruto and Sasuke was toxic for a very long time, but they squashed their beef. Let's be real. Now you have the Hokage and Shadow Hokage. Don't make me get into Naruto lore here. I swear to God.
And then, so Red adds to this in his thing. How would you like to read Red's thing?
Sure. Red. The content creation sphere is massive, and the VTuber sphere is a fraction of that with its own audience. Everyone is always doing something, watching something, playing something, and it's a constant race of relevancy. Whether you want to look at it that way or not, it's the nature of the industry. Part of the reason why we are always working on new things, releasing bigger things at a faster and faster rate, was to stay competitive in the space. In a general sense, everyone was competition. Friends, other VTubers, and other content creators. But at the same time that anyone and everyone could be considered competition, they were also collaborators, co-workers, and partners. The end goal was about staying relevant and in people's minds and making sure our projects could succeed alongside anything going on at any given time. While also topping our own things we've done in the past, at no point was this view ever motivation or an excuse to hurt, take advantage of, or put down creators around us, especially friends. This is a business, it's a job, but keeping the business aspect of things in mind didn't affect the way I saw our friendships with people or the way I treated them. They were my friends too, and we both cared about them, supported them, and helped them out when they needed it. I've always had the backs of the people closest to us. The only people I've ever considered as direct competition in the negative sense were people either we had something against or did something against us and were working with artists important to us. By April 2025, this was only Silverveil from how she acted towards Sinder for years, though after what I thought she did to us and our other friends in December 2024. But only until someone after my deal with Nano in January 2025 and potentially soon to be Lily by the same way she was treating Sinder and coincidentally getting a model from Nanolist at the same time. By the way, yeah, Shy Lily's Nanolist model is fully available for viewing. I canceled this model. No, you didn't. Okay, it was rough of me to feel this way, especially towards Bao, and I'm sorry.
So the Shy Lily model has been shown a couple times, by the way. It is 100% just a copy of one of Cinder's models.
Yeah, it is. It 100% is.
And look here, let me pull it up and see if I can find it really quick. Because one thing that kind of came out is people are like, well, you know, it's just a coincidence, like how similar they look. It's a coincidence when it's separate artists from separate VTubers across who knows like how many sections of the internet, right? Like who knows just how far apart they are. But when it's two ex-friends from the exact same artist, you have to humor the fact that it could be copied.
Spectrobes is a game franchise where you dig up fossils to...
Ignore that, chat. I had a video in the background. But this is the Shy Lily model, and this is the Sinder model.
Oh my god, it is. It's templated. Like, and I have nothing against template VTuber model. I'm using one myself. But this is not worth fucking 20k. Or however many K you fucking paid. I mean, come on.
And like, yeah, if it was a different artist with two people who didn't know each other, yeah, you could argue that it's just a coincidence. But why the fuck does Shy Lily have the Sinder horns? She's an orca whale.
Why does she have the Sinder horns? Why does she have the same cup size? Why does she have the same width size? Why is her hands in the same position? I'm sorry, this is a template fucking... I'm especially disgusted because I know how much Xanolist charges for a model. This is... Oh, man. Yeah.
Like, it's something you have to acknowledge when they're so close together and all these accusations are running rampant. They're like, yeah, no, they are kind of copying, aren't they? It's just kind of the reality of that.
I mean, new clothes, new eyes, new hair and all, sir, but that body is the same body, guys.
Yeah, the big thing that a lot of people caught on to is why does she have horns? And people are like, why?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense for her,
Yeah,
and it's just
weird.
The same horns, just with like slightly different effects.
Not even for her lore. She's an orca.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with her
design. Are you a
design.
narwhal now? Swimming in the ocean, causing a commotion because they're so awesome? Okay, sorry.
And then we have like a couple of absolutely random, like off the wall things. A lot of these I don't believe matter, but we have to go over them because they were made an issue by the people calling her out. So here I want to address the people that Red and I hurt that don't have a larger section in this document. Tricky, my friends, Red and I traveled to Japan last year. About a week into our trip around the country, we arrived in Tokyo for the first few days there. Red, Tricky, and I were talking about going to the Godzilla store the night we arrived, but other plans left us with no time to go. The next morning, Red and I were up super early and were ready to leave the hotel around 8 or 9 a.m. By the way, 8 or 9 a.m. is not early if you have an itinerary. You're actually a little bit late.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say, like, if you're doing vacation, you should be up at 6.
Yeah.
Like, or at least waking up at 6, out the door by 7. Like, look, you're here for a limited amount of time. There's not much time, and I read ahead a little bit, but I don't think waiting for somebody for an hour before deciding, you know what, I have to do my vacation or lose it is a bad thing.
Yeah, so again, it's around 8 or 9. They waited for about an hour without hearing from Tricky. It's about 10 o'clock. We're getting closer to noon. On a Japan trip. No, I'm not waiting for you at that point. Because
I got shit to do, and it's fucking, like, Japan's expensive, okay?
Yeah.
I gotta do as much. If I'm gonna hit Japan, I gotta do as much as I can, and guess what? The hour that you're getting ready, that I'm waiting, I could be using seeing other sites.
Yep. Because we only had a few days left in Japan, Red and I wanted to make the most out of our remaining time. We were around friends all week and didn't have much, if any, time alone together in Japan either. The other half dozen of us there either had their own plans or were still sleeping too. There were other friends staying at the same hotel as Red, Tricky, and I, so instead of waiting around for Tricky to wake up, we selfishly chose to go into the city and go to the Godzilla store without her. By the time Tricky was awake and ready to leave the hotel, Red and I were across the city and didn't go back to get her. We only met up with her towards the end of the day when everyone reconvened somewhere. Red and I are sorry to Tricky for leaving her behind and hurting her. We've always been there for her, especially when we've traveled together. We didn't think she'd be left completely alone with how many of us were together in Tokyo, but still we should have waited for her instead of going off on our own. She was one of our best friends and we're both so sorry. This is such a gay thing. And I just can't take it seriously.
This is something I don't believe deserve. Okay, kudos to you, Sinder, for feeling the need to apologize to this. I imagine Tricky did feel unwanted or abandoned, and for people who have those kind of abandonment issues, sure, it's bad. But I'm sorry, but Tricky woke up late. You guys have a vacation to do. I don't see the need to apologize for this one.
Yeah. It's so dumb. And, like, you can go on your own. You don't have to travel with Red and her boyfriend. This feels very pointless to put up. It does. The problem is it was
put
made
up in one of the other documents, so
Yeah.
she has to respond.
That's the problem, is people brought up a lot of stuff and they made a lot of stuff points of contention that shouldn't have been. And if Cinder could have just ignored them, I think that would have been best, but she couldn't because everyone kept propping it up.
You can blame every single content creator who made a doc on Cinder for the length of this document.
Yeah.
Because if you guys had not brought every little fucking slight in your past knowledge of knowing Cinder as a person, she wouldn't have put a fucking 1,200-page document.
Exactly. Like, there's so much stuff that didn't have to be addressed, but you guys harped on it for weeks. So yeah, she does have to address it because you've made it an issue now. We have a Cottontail VA.
Yes, she did. Starstruck. In Tricky's, my experience with Cinder, Tricky did actually bring this up as a point of contention and as something that very much hurt her. That is why Cinder is responding to it, and they have every right to.
Yeah, and this is also why I kind of feel like a lot of these people weren't her friend, or weren't really her friend, because, like, why are you going to pile on with this stupid shit? You're doing it for either money or because you secretly hate her. I do not believe you're her friend.
Yeah, no, I think that this was about as close as, like, a surface level friendship can get for especially as females, but I don't think this is any kind of true friendship at all. Again, another point that I like to bring up, because we both don't like how Taka made his doc, but even when the accusations came out against Takahata 101, people who considered them friends with Taka actually asked Taka first about it. Now, what they did with that information afterwards, that's their choice, but that's what a real friend does. Hey, I heard this. What's your side of the story? That never happened.
Yeah. Again, it's wild that you have people that are accused of assaults, and they have more people approaching them to ask like what the full story is than fucking Sinder did, who was just accused of kind of being a snarky bitch. Like, none of you talked to her at all, and you admit that publicly, and you think that's a good W for you? Like, no, you guys suck. I would personally, like, if I ever got big as a VTuber, I would have all these people on my blacklist. I wouldn't want them anywhere near me, because I wouldn't be able to trust any of them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly.
Cottontail VA, I'm sorry to Cotton for the way I avoided her and turned down collabs together for a situation that had nothing to do with me. I thought I was being a good friend to someone I was close with, but I was unfair to her to treat her that way. I did not agree with how Red included her name in this deal with Nano, and I wouldn't have let him if I knew about it, regardless of how I felt about her at the time. And Red adds to that, it was wrong of me to ask Nano not to work with Cotton. It was a spur-of-the-moment thing, and after hearing about the situation she was involved in, I took it upon myself to do what I thought was right by another friend. Cotton's always been nice to me personally, and she didn't deserve that. I'm sorry. And then we have, the last one on this list is Nixubu. Would you like to read this one? Ava died. Nixeu deleted her tweet with her document about me. She shouldn't have, because she was right. I was going to include it in here for reference, but I've left it out because of what she wrote in it, so instead I've summarized the situation below. Second, I don't want any kind of public reaction to this. I really do not want to appear on videos or similar. I do not want my case being used as an excuse to put more hate into it. I just want to share and let it out of my chest. I'll probably delete it in the end. Nixuo, or Lomaya AF? Fuck, I don't know. Is an artist that reached out to me via email about making artwork in exchange for showing it off and giving a shout out to her Patreon on stream. I hadn't seen the email, but she made a tweet laying out her terms, tagging me in it. I messaged her that I was interested. I put her in a contact with Red, and he handled things from there. Though through Red, we made our agreement, it wasn't until she had a large portion of the sketch finished when I had changed my mind about our agreement and didn't want to do it anymore. I don't know what was going through my head or what my reason for this was, but I told Red to call it off. Red tried to make it seem like there was miscommunication somewhere to save face for me, but it was really because
I'm back.
Welcome back. Because I was being unprofessional. He talked to me, and I agreed to follow through with the art showcase and shout out on my stream. However, I failed to follow Nixuo's terms as they were agreed upon. I didn't verbally shout out her Patreon and only showed the link to it that was on her artwork. I also didn't show the censored, not safe for work version of the art, but that was because I was worried about getting in trouble with Twitch. This was an unprecedented situation I caused with an artist, and I've never done something like this with anyone else. I handled an agreement I made extremely and regrettably unprofessionally. This was way out of character for me, and I'm sorry to Nixuo for how I handled things, for the stress I caused her. I encourage anyone reading this to please support her incredible work. This is another one of those things where this is kind of a gay fight, and the person really shouldn't have made like such a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
But that's all in this section. This is her apology section, basically. And ultimately, I think it
I mean, look,
goes
for
well.
anybody who doesn't want to TLDR this whole fucking thing, just read this section. There you go. You have your apology that you think that that's all they should have done. There's your apology. For the rest of us who are normal and actually want to see them respond to everything, we have the other tabs. So, you know, See you guys on the other side.
So we probably won't get through all of it today because it is really long, but we have the Nanolist section. So she does link Nanolist's document, which is terminating my work with Sinder. We have read the Nanolist document on stream. Nanolist's document claimed both Red and I manipulated, used, and dragged her into drama while slandering multiple VTubers, including our friends. These claims were the basis for everything else publicly released afterwards. Documents from a half-dozen people and many others tweeting their grievances with me all hinged on Nano's document and its validity. When I wrote my apology, I said, quote, I was not fully aware of the extent of Red's manipulation over Nano's commission decision, unquote. When I wrote this poorly worded sentence, I hadn't seen any of these DMs. I was in a panic. I didn't think Nano would be lying about anything. But now that I've read Red's DMs myself, I can say that Nano was not manipulated, abused, used, lied to, mistreated, expected to take action over any drama she was told about, or incapable of making her own decisions regarding her commissions and clientele. She was never forced to do or not do anything, has always been in control of her own choices, and always had the ability to say no. She was met with understanding and faced no repercussions professionally or personally from either of us when she did. Nano's messages with Reds were deceitfully presented to push a narrative that never happened. I don't believe Nano ever showed the full context of her messages with Red to my friends. Her claims were backed by Shy Lily, and I believe they were misled into blindly supporting her. So I'm going to add this extra context that we have found out over time. First off, we knew this from day one, but all of Nano's messages that she posted, completely out of order. And not like sort of out of order. She would post something from 2025, and then she would follow it up with something from 2023. Like there were...
no, like really bad, out of order, and a lot of cropping too. There's a lot of like cutoffs and stuff that doesn't make sense. It makes sense now with this document, but when they released their document, no, there was a lot of questions we had regarding the chronological order of the screenshots, as well as the very obvious cropping.
There was also one particular screenshot that kind of had everybody on the more pro Sinder side, or I guess more skeptical side, that immediately had everybody asking questions. Because it was found out, comparing the screenshots to screenshots in Bao's document, that for some reason they had photoshopped out a sentence in one of Nano's screenshots. And the sentence didn't hurt her argument. It didn't make her look bad. It didn't change the context of anything. But she did Photoshop it out, the entire sentence.
Yeah.
And it just had people asking, like, that's weird. Why did you sit down and take the time to Photoshop that out? Because it didn't matter. And like, why are you...
it didn't hurt or help your argument, but here you are fabricating evidence.
And it put it in the minds...
That is when you do that.
Yeah, and it kind of put it in the minds of people who are skeptical that you are willing to Photoshop stuff for some reason. Why?
Yeah, that was one of the first, like, red flags.
Yeah.
For us skeptics out there, we were like, wait a minute. Why did this even need to be done? And if we can't get a good answer for it, which we never did, well, now we have a problem.
Yeah. Wasn't it 2 sentences? It was like 1 or 2 sentences. It was small and it was irrelevant.
It wasn't a lot.
But it was weird that it happened. Right? It's kind of like, why are you lying about this? What's the point of lying about that particular thing? Did you think it hurt your argument, maybe? Because, I mean, that's a possibility. It's possible that she read that and thought it hurt her argument.
That's the most reasonable explanation.
Yeah, but for us, it was weird that she was willing to Photoshop stuff, and it immediately put everything else in question. Because now you don't know if any of it's Photoshopped or not. Nano was a close friend who we respected and was a massive part of my own success. I've only ever praised her privately and publicly. There was nothing she could do for me to hold anything against her or to choose to stop working with her. Red and I always encouraged Nano to do what was best for her, not us. Red, who handled our plans with her, made sure to work around her schedule, push projects back if she needed more time on them, or to take a break and give her first priority on products she was interested in. He trusted her, and the extent he, quote, lied to her about other people involved was in telling her his own genuine thoughts, observations, and experiences with them as he knew. The same way my accusers did to the public with how they assumed how Red and I have operated together. What was photoshopped? It was just one of the Discord messages. Like we said, it's not what was photoshopped out because it was irrelevant. It's that she was willing to photoshop the messages to start with, which is
exactly.
You should not be photoshopping the messages, point blank none. Because then it opens up the question, is anything else photoshopped? Because we only knew this one was photoshopped because Bao accidentally posted the full screenshot and not the edited version. Which, this is one of the reasons I think Bao is probably one of the only genuine people kind of mixed up in this mess, is Bao was constantly accidentally exposing people by saying stuff that I guess she wasn't told she shouldn't say. Like, we only know Shy Lily was involved because Bao said it. And she literally said, Shy Lily's been organizing this with people for the last week. At that point, Shy Lily hadn't even made a tweet about this. She was pretending like she had nothing to do with it. We wouldn't find out that Nanolis edited documents if Bao hadn't accidentally posted the full thing. It was... Bao is either super genuine and didn't realize how much, like, fakeness was going on, or she's just really dumb, or third thought, absolute rat, she was intentionally leaving breadcrumbs so for people to follow, which is not, I don't think that's true, but that'd be really fucking funny if it was. Also, it is important to remember for chat, for people who are skeptical of Bao, is Bao had just gotten out of the hospital for like an actual big medical issue. I think you do have to give her some leeway for that, because that's a very stressful thing for people to go through, and people don't typically think very logically when they first get out of that kind of situation. So like I said, I'm willing to give Bao like a lot of leeway. A lot more than other people, just because of the context of it all. The claim that Red and I worked to sabotage products Nano had was a lie. We both would praise her for the work she did for other people, and have always celebrated and supported new Nano model siblings when they debuted. Even if Red was really asking Nano to cancel every model she had, it was ultimately still her choice to do it or not, but not all of the blame for her actions was somehow put on me. There were only 4 people Red ever explicitly asked Nano not to work with her agreeing not to. The first was Spite at the start of 2023. Red asked Nano himself, and he told me about it after. I lied about knowing about this in my apology, since it was never mentioned in Nano or Spite's documents. Bao, Cotton, and Silvervale were all part of their exclusivity deal in January of 2025, and each for Red's own reasons. I was only ever aware of and in agreement of asking Nano not to work with Silver anymore. Red never told me about the other 2. I am not guilty of him using his free will to push his own agenda and express his own feelings to Nano, but I understand that as my manager, everything he said to her or anyone else is my responsibility, whether I knew about it or not. Although they were friends, it was unprofessional of him to talk, gossip, and work interchangeably. Which is true, you shouldn't be doing this. We worked with Nano for 4 years. She is an incredible artist who I've treasured working with alongside my entire career. I put my faith in her at the start when we were both smaller creators. She saved me from a year-long struggle to get my first model, and she's been with me every step of my journey since. I wanted Nano to be a part of anything she could and choose to make her artwork the backbone of my brand. I love and appreciate every single thing she's done for me. I'm proud of everything I've been able to do for her. In April, I believe Nano found herself in a situation she couldn't back out of, and then chose to do what would result in the most beneficial outcome for herself: hide the truth. Below are large portions of Nano's DMs with Red, and over the past 2.5 years, that show any situations brought up in Nano's document in full context. Show the relationship we had with her, how she felt about us and other people involved in everything, and any other relevant conversations that weren't included in what was posted to the public. I've also included some of my own messages with her, and some messages with other people. Some of these DMs are repeated and included in the following sections of this document. Nano's profile picture is different in some of these screenshots because of them being taken at different times throughout making this document. This is definitely a little shade being thrown at Nano at the start here. Everything is in chronological order and all dates and times are in EST. This was a huge problem with Nano's document, is a lot of the stuff was not only out of chronological order, but it was hard, like the dates would be really wild. They'd be different in one screenshot and the same in one, which is weird because Discord kind of runs off.
And between each, here's the issue that I have, right? And I'd have to go back to Nanolith's document to show this, but between each screenshot, they're contextualizing and crafting a narrative that one would assume is chronological. But then the screenshots they show between each little narration is clearly not chronological. So, I mean, that in of itself speaks to more than just like, oh, Nanolith was dumb and just didn't think to format her fucking doc. No, because you did, because the narrative that you craft between each screenshot is chronological, but the screenshots aren't. So that's malicious in my opinion.
Yeah. She says, I've censored any private information or names of people who aren't directly involved. Screenshots that include messages that were any of the documents are highlighted with a red border. Screenshots that are directly of or taken from another document are highlighted with an orange border. Dates and important messages with any screenshots are highlighted in yellow. Quotes from my apology are highlighted in gray, and red is highlighted in blue. This is something I'd also like to point out to other drama tubers and news VTubers who were saying that Sinder didn't bring any like evidence or anything. This is the Nano section. Just message after message after message after message. Now let's keep going for a minute, see how far we get. Because we're about, what, 20, 30, 40? Okay, there we go. Before we even get to her saying like another little preamble in between, we've gone through almost 40 pages of pictures of just their screenshot conversation.
There you go. There you go. That's how you do it. That's not contextualization. That's not framing a narrative. That's, okay, here's 20 pages of screenshots to speak for themselves, and then a little break, and here's another 20 pages.
You hear, chat? Let's just let it go for a minute. You know, all the not evidence she brought to the table.
Yeah. No evidence brought, guys.
Yeah, let's just, give it a minute, chat. We'll just see how far it goes. How many screenshots we have. This is the longest section of not screenshot in here, and it's from fucking Red. So, like, yeah, I could just grab the side here and just drag it. It's just all of their DMs over the years. So, like, all of these people trying to pretend like there's nothing included here. You're just lying. And you're kind of a piece of shit for not posting any of it. And then they want a tilde here. Exactly. By the start of 2023, Nano was already sharing her commission plans with Red. She also told him that it was okay for us to commission someone else for merch artwork. Red had previously talked to her about. Red said it was no problem for us to wait for her to do it. Like I said in my apology. Quote, in regards to Nanolith, for the majority of the time working with her, Red was the one almost solely doing the communication about new plans and negotiations through his private DMs, unquote. And again, for the date here, this is almost a little over 2 years ago. It's from January 23rd of 2023. And I think this is about as far back as we go. I don't think Nanolith had anything later than this. So this is probably kind of around the start. But it's... do you want to do like one part and I'll do one part?
Yeah, that'll work.
And so I guess I got redacted. It says, oh, and just curious, but was blank the only new client you took on for this year?
Got another one, but it's done already.
Okay, cool. It seems like a lot of new people want to work with you, lol.
Yeah, I kind of feel it too, shocked Pepe. By the way, you said you wanted to leave Docky and Booba for later. It's okay if you want to calm someone else. I don't want to delay your plans, but if you're fine waiting, I'm more than happy to work on it.
Oh, that's okay. We're fine with moving things around. It's only really Sinder if you draw it. Other things going on are preventing us from doing it for Valentine's like we wanted, so we have to move it anyways. Plus, focusing on getting 2.0 for the demon and the 2 starting screen artworks done is more of a priority too.
God damn, this means a lot to me. What the fuck? And is that a crying emoticon, I guess?
Probably crying.
Yeah.
Later that day was the first time Red brought up Spite to Nano. Red asked Nano to not work with Spite, and she gladly agreed not to. Red only told me about this after it was done. It wasn't something we talked about beforehand, but I was okay with it. Nano never said anything about this to me, and we never talked about Spite. I shared the feelings Red expressed here since he was the only one who knew how I felt. What he said about negative comments I was getting was true. Everything regarding Spite presented in her section of this document. This was not included in Nano or Spite's document at all. Why? Since they didn't say anything about it, I chose not to either. I lied about not knowing about Red's conversations with Nano about Spite to try and not make things worse for myself, but I still accidentally alluded to it because of the state I was in. This is what I said in my apology, quote, "Once again, I had no involvement or knowledge of Red bringing up Spite to Nano in 2023. My only personal involvement with excluding someone specific from working with Nano was Silver." And I'd like to point out that she is correct. Nobody had actually accused her of knowing about this specifically. So
Yeah.
people can whine and complain that, oh, she admitted she's a liar in here. She didn't have to. And that's kind of what telling the truth is about. Is saying
bit,
something negative about yourself when there's no benefit to you and there's no reason to do so. This is like what actual honesty is admitting you did something when you don't have to. So
Yeah, people don't realize that actual honesty doesn't necessarily leave a good taste in your mouth, right? Because there's a reason why they're having to be honest now, as they weren't completely honest at some point in the past, and so you're gonna have some rough pills to swallow when someone's telling when someone is telling you the whole and complete truth.
yeah. Like, yeah, Cinder's kind of a bitch for doing this, but I mean, it was over 2 years ago, and she's admitting it, so.
Yeah, and again, look, Redacted never should have asked these questions. I even more so than asking for exclusivity. What you guys are gonna see here in a second. You as a manager, or even as another person talking to an artist, should never request that artist not work with a specific person. That is a big fat no-no. That is sources interference. You should not do that. Now, they're admitting to that. They're saying it was bad. They're owning it. But I'm going to continue. This is, excuse me. This can get you sued. Okay? Don't do it.
Yeah. Red, Cinder was upset over what we both thought was Spite copying her. I saw Spite interacting with Nano, possibly with the intent of trying to work with her. I went to Nano myself and asked her not to without talking to Cinder first. This was about one person and one artist they never worked with before who was fine agreeing to it. As far as I know, it was never actually affected Spite. I have never talked about Spite with the other artist, and I'm sorry to her that I asked this of Nano. This was the first of 4 times with 3 different artists I had ever specifically asked anyone to not work with someone else, which are all presented in this document. And to clarify this, because some people, I guess, seem to be misreading this part, he is saying that he asked artists not to work with a person 4 times in his entire history. Not that he has asked 4 times to not work with Spite specifically. This is just a general, anytime I've asked somebody not to work with someone, it's been 4 times.
It's 4 times too many. Like, if Redacted, if he somehow sees this, that's the one thing that you should take from this. Never I mean, if you're pursuing an exclusivity deal, that's different.
Yeah.
But never go to artists or other people and tell them not to serve or not to do business with a singular person. That is, even if they don't have a previously standing contract, you are doing so much legally gray and kind of bad that you're gonna get yourself and your client in trouble. Don't do it.
Yeah. So we have the next one redacted. Hey, kind of a weird question, but would it be okay if we requested you don't work with someone?
You mean like being exclusive?
No, like not accept commissions from one person.
I have to cringe here visibly, but oh, who is this?
And redacted says spite.
Oh damn, I almost said something like win Sinder X spite.
Ever since Sinder debuted, we've seen her slowly implement new design details onto herself that seem like she might have taken them from Sinder, including her now having ear flames that she never had, and we think it's because she was the Hellhound until Sinder showed up. But also some of Spite's community has been rude to Sinder in chat or on YouTube comments on other people's clips on Sinder. I've noticed her being friendly towards you and possibly with the intention of working with you. I just wanted to ask if you're okay with being one Hellhound exclusive.
Of course, I protect my baby, or my BB, but I also nurse the flame additions. It's a shame people that can't educate their community. Oh, wow, okay.
Thank you, Nano. I feel really bad asking you something like this. I really appreciate it, though.
It's okay. There's no place for rude people.
Mama Nano, best mama.
And then Mama Protect. Yeah, so I mean, this is clearly Nano-us. Like again, Redacted should not be asking these questions, but Nano-us is enthusiastically complying with them. It's not even like a hesitation. It's quite literally Mama Bear Protect mode.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Nano-us is not at all fucking, like, without fault here. I mean, come on.
And people are kind of letting it slide on Nano, and Nano's like, no, she's going along with it very enthusiastically.
I mean, yeah, no, exactly. It's not even like the ones that they showed us in their document where they seem to be like humming and hawing and a bit hesitant about the exclusivity deal. I can see that being like a problem, right? But this is Nano-us jumping headfirst in the pool saying, yeah, fuck that bitch. I protect my fucking model like that. Come on.
Exactly.
And also, JP Ravenfire does say, is there a monopoly on ear flames? There's not, but sadly, VTubers, for some reason, believe that they have a right to whatever design detail they might come up with that's remotely unique.
Yeah, I will say, though, with larger creators, they do start sampling a lot from people around them and incorporating it into their own design, which you're allowed to do. But after a while, sometimes it does kind of feel like you're just copying. Because it feels like you don't have unique ideas for yourself. You're just like, oh, I like that. Let's just add it in. And it's the thing is, it's not just a thing.
Chat thought Nano and Red were flirting. No, absolutely not. This is two Zomers fucking talking with each other.
Yeah, this is just kind of what kids talk like these days. Trust me, I've seen it. It makes you...
sorry. Trust me, this is how I talk to people. I'm not flirting with you.
Red, I tell Nano I just wanted to ask if you're okay with being one Hellhound exclusive, and I feel really bad about asking you something like this. Nano and I have never talked about Spite. Here's me searching Spite in my own DMs with Nano. And it just shows that nothing pops up, which is fair.
I agree. Although I would put like a second one, maybe Hellhound, given that, I mean, it took pushing to even get Red to admit it was Spite, and then even when continued to talk about Spite, he said, Nano-us, can you be a one Hellhound model artist, you know? So, like, it's clear, like, the word Spite isn't necessarily like, oh, this proves that I never talked to them, but it goes a long way in favor of that, and I do believe them at face value here.
Yeah. So now we're on to 1/26/2023, an example of the relationship Red had with Nano and how they would talk with each other. Nano told Red that she wants to make my winter outfit, and Red messaged her about it a few days earlier on 1/22/2023. This is the 1/22/2023. Hey Nano, were you interested in designing Cinder's winter outfit? Not until a lot later this year. Wanted to ask in case we need to find someone else to design it for you to draw. And then we skip ahead to like when we're actually talking about the winter outfit.
Did I
4 days
agree
later.
on doing Cinder Winter? Yeah, 4 days. Wow, 4 days, huh? Did I agree on doing Cinder Winter? Because I do. I just don't remember if I replied to that. Pepe Shock.
You did not reply to that, Nano.
I do want to them.
Oh my gosh, you do?
I do.
I gotta talk to some people and change things around. OMG.
Wait, if you already got someone for that, no need to change.
No, I'm just kidding.
Fuck you then.
Club Penguin Dance.
Club Penguin. And then laughing cat, I guess.
Yeah, you can do it if you want, Cinder. Face.
I don't want to anymore.
Pepe meme.
Just kidding. I love Cinder, but fuck you.
Club Penguin Dance. So this is just like... Yeah, no, this is just how they talk to each other. And I think that's kind of what they mention here at the top, is this is not like about the winter outfit, it's to show that this is how Red and Nano speak with each other.
This is how this is how Nano speaks with people.
Yeah. So like, yeah, Red is not being like the best professional manager here. Nanolus isn't being a professional artist either. So we kind of have to keep that in mind.
Really. Again, my big takeaway is there is a serious need for an injection of professionalism in especially the bigger indie VTuber like creators. Like, I'm sorry, you guys need, whether it's a legal consult or somebody in HR department, I don't give a fuck. Just somebody to tell you, yeah, you probably shouldn't do things this way.
Yep. Really quick, Faker 8 for 2, Bao is the secret agent, question mark. Excel Arts for 2, Red seems like a bad influence and a poor manager, he kinda does. And Daryl Neese for 5, a little sticker of a hippo clapping. So we are skipping ahead 2 months. We are now at 3/27/2023. Red asked about Nano's other work for us to plan around with her, and Nano willingly shared. This was normal between him. Again, this is a thing where, because every situation like this, both sides are going to be at fault, but both sides are going to be at fault to different degrees, right? So Red should not be asking. However, Nano is the one with the privileged information. She should not be sharing. She is more at fault in this specific situation.
Or at least not charging $1,000 extra for NDA. Which, by the way, I will have to say to any big creator who might watch this who works with Nanolith, seriously determine like if that's viable, because I don't know if Shy Lily or Bao or any of these other bigger creators had paid for the extra NDA. I kind of assume they would, given how big they are, and these are clear violations of that NDA agreement that you guys as creators paid for, and it's being violated by your artist.
Yep.
Now, maybe if you didn't pay for the NDA, okay, fine. But all I'm saying is I find it hard to believe that all of you didn't pay for NDA, yet were fucking clearly openly talked about with other clients when that should not have been happening.
Yep. And real quick, just to seem like I'm not a hypocrite, earlier on, when this happens with the spite thing, this is another situation where both sides are in the wrong. Analysts should not be accepting this, but Red is more in the wrong for asking that she do it in the first place.
Big time. And again, because this goes beyond exclusivity, you're asking them to specifically blacklist a specific person. No, you can't do that.
Yep. So on this one, I'm assuming the first person talking is Red. This is be confident, Nano. Cinder. Cinder.
I'm not, it's my nature. If you expect low, anything it's a win.
Well, I'm glad it's been going good for you. What does your art schedule look like right now?
Demon Cinder, and you know what, actually, given that these screenshots were put together by, not Nano, Sinder and Redacted, they actually had the fucking competency to censor who Nanolith was violating the NDA of. Blank April, May, full new model, and another blank mid-April, art cuts. And a few cup arts in between. Already have something for around June. I think that's it.
Let me see what else Cinder and I had planned to work with you on this year.
Oh yeah, it would be great to know everything. Also, is it okay to have Cinder arts for Patreon awards? I don't have much time for Patreon. They are starving.
So also, I would point out that this is not as much on red as I kind of said at the start, because I guess I was kind of assuming more than I read. I let my head get ahead of me.
No, I mean, look,
it's actually pretty normal to ask
normal
what the schedule
question.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have to name any names. You can just say, well, I'm April, May, I'm pretty much booked, right? You don't have to give names.
Yeah.
Nanolith responded with naming names and everything. This is on them 100%.
So Cinder's still willing to work with Red is concerning with how much he messed up. This is where we get into the thing I said earlier.
That's probably our biggest critique, yeah.
Well, this is where we get to earlier when I talk about business and relationships. She is in a actual relationship with this person. And yeah, he probably shouldn't be involved in the business. I think in general, if you're in a relationship with somebody, they probably shouldn't be involved in the business. But it puts you in a weird situation where you can't just cut them off and call it a day. Because they were like your partner. And there has to be other questions to be asked there. There have to be other discussions to be talked about. You can't just be like, okay, well, you fucked up all my business, so we're not talking anymore. Even though we've been in a relationship for like 5 years now. And I also have to acknowledge that there's probably some level of guilt with Cinder for cheating on him that now comes back as, can I leave this person for making me look bad when I cheated on them in the past and they forgave me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get you.
So I don't think he should probably be involved with the business anymore. Cinder should probably do her own communication. That said, I'm not going to super heavily judge her for it. 3/29/2023. This is just 2 days later. Nano told Red she wouldn't be able to meet the deadline for 2 pieces of art she was doing for me. Red was sympathetic and extended the deadline for her. Nano implied that she's been taking on too many projects. You want to start, Ava?
Yeah, give me
You're good.
quick second. I'm just typing something. There we go. So sorry about that, everybody. Hassan has apparently posted a response video going over his collar, saying that it's only a vibration collar, and it has trackers and other things on it. I only just brought out my quote from the law is, whoever having the charge or custody of an animal, either as owner or otherwise, subjects an animal to needless suffering or unnecessarily cruelty upon the animal is guilty of animal abuse. Again, even if it was just vibration, that seemed needless to me. So let's continue. Hey, Red, I'm feeling a bit concerned about deadlines for the 2.0 art.
What's up?
I think it would be better if you find someone else for the 2.0 start screen. I didn't know they would be used the same day, but I can work a bit harder to meet the dates if you really want me to work on it.
Do you think you'd be able to do it by the end of April? I know you have blank and blank in April too, so maybe mid-May?
Oh, I thought it would be earlier.
Well, ideally, we would have wanted both arts within the next week or two. But if you can't do that, and we're going to have to push back the debut for other things too, end of April, mid-May would be okay if you can manage with that. I don't want to overload you too much.
Yeah, for the next 2 weeks would be very pushy on me, but end of April / mid-May is good.
Okay, I will let Sinder know.
If you can't push back the debut, I really recommend somebody else. Don't want to delay things for you guys. I'm sorry, they're really trying to offload this extra work they have, it seems.
Yeah. And then there's also the waifu carp art for Sinder. IDK when they want you to start that, but just another thing to do at some point. No, it's okay. We have to wait for blank anyways, some other things being worked on. She'll only be starting the demon model in another week-ish when she's back home. The debut will be anywhere from end of May to mid-July, depending on when things are done, and Sinder and I aren't traveling to cons instead of the end of April.
Yep. Okay, so hold on. Kind of relieved. Besides delaying the is sad.
It's okay, Nano, but we have a lot of projects we want to work with you on. If you're free this summer right now, lol.
I would love to if I had the time. I might stop taking big comms for some time and only work with my current contacts. I'm kind of oh, wow, yeah. I see why that's highlighted. That's kind of
Yeah. Redacta says, I'm sorry we're giving you so much to do.
It's okay, it's my fault. I decided to birth another baby. Oh, Jesus, did that just come out of my fucking mouth?
Clip it, chat.
No, god damn it!
After the 2.0 and Demon Arts, blank in your other projects / Patreon stuff, then we will take up all your time.
Gladly. Blanket's mostly done, just gotta make some cuts for rigging.
And at least on the Sinder art can help out with your Patreons after the debut praying emoji. So yeah, I think the big takeaway from this one is the taking away from big comms and the fact that she was already trying to cut this one. So this is
I mean, she really, look, she mentions going, hey, if you want to go with another person for this, you totally can, I understand. She says it like 2 or 3 times in this conversation alone. She does not want to do this for whatever reason. Yeah. But it does turn the conversation to, like, more exclusively working with Sinder. So I don't, yeah, this is telling.
Well, there's that, and then it opens up the questions about all the other comms that she has canceled, which Sinder is claiming that Nanolist did on her own. This kind of shows that Nanolist is...
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, she is kind of one to step up and try and cancel stuff.
Yeah, no, that's what this feels like.
So we go ahead about a week, a little under. Nano turned down artwork plans that were previously discussed for some time off. Eventually, Red told her we were able to find another artist for those plans. In between, Red praised Nano for her work on another VTuber's model. By the way, as an artist, do not do this. If you can't do the work, don't do it. Or if you've already accepted the work, come forward as early as humanly possible and be like, look, I can't do it. You need to find somebody else. Because people
honestly,
plan around this stuff.
Overbooking is normal in the industry, but like, you gotta, like, if you let it ride, you're gonna pretty much tank your business and your credibility as an artist who can complete comms on time, and there goes your fucking career. Whereas, okay, you know what? I just realized I took on too much. Could we maybe discuss this? Do that, like, literally. Even if it's only the next day and you realize, oh shit, my mistake. Don't put that off for a month. That's gonna kill your career.
Yep. So we'll continue on. We'll let you start first.
Okay, Red, we need to talk.
Hi, Nano. What's up?
I think it won't be possible to take Sinder's merch comms. I really need some time off from commissions.
Okay, thumbs up.
Thank you and sorry for this sad Pepe.
No worries, Nano. You deserve a break. Thumbs up. when you're ready to take on comms again, we'll have things for you to do if you want. And then a day passes.
Yeah, and then, yes, of course, I just need some time to breathe, but still would love to work with you guys.
All right, and then about a week passes, and Redacted message her, great job with Blank's model, Nano.
Thank you, Blushing Cato. By the way, Nanolis, you're no longer allowed to use this emoticon. It's my emoticon, and I use it, and my mods use it, and you're not allowed to use it.
So about another week passes. Hi, Nano, we found an artist to do a docky and booba mousepad for Sinder, but it's her original design. We'll wait for you to do the 2.0 and demon design dockies and mousepads. Wanted to let you know so you don't feel too bad about it. Art. And then 4/12/2023, I messaged Nano about starting on some pose ideas for my first waifu cup when she was ready and available. So now we're on Cinder's actual messages. She says, hi Nano, Blank was asking when you'll have some time to work on the art for GamerSup's cup, and I said you were a little busy right now. Do you think we could come up with some pose ideas together when you have a chance? There's no rush, I know you're busy. Ava? Ava
Sorry
died
about that.
again.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, my dad walked in. He was asking some questions.
Fair.
We are on this one down here, April 12th, right?
Yeah, this one right here.
Okay. But, oh, of course can do. You want it two-sided, right?
That would be amazing. And then she doesn't show us any new message. There's apparent. You can see here. There's a message somewhere around April 18th, like a week later, but she doesn't actually continue on with the messages until April 30th. So 4/30/2023, I told Nano I was trying to get her the okay to work on my waifu cup art on stream, so it'd be easier for her. And I told her how much it meant to be to have my first waifu cup with her artwork on it. So Cinder starts with, Nano, I hope you're having a good weekend. The starting screen arts you made for me are so nice. I love them. Cinder heart. I've been trying to see if it'll be okay for you to work on my GamerSup's art on stream to make things easier on you. They might be able to have the art on a big banner for Anime Expo if it's done soon. I can't wait to have the first Nano Cup. It's so special to me.
Oh shit, you want a banner? I don't know, super shocked, Pepe? Yeah, letting me work on stream would help a lot, but if not possible, it's okay, I'll manage. Okay, so this kind of makes me think about her NDA fee. I'm thinking her NDA fee is, in her mind, as a English second language person, is like, oh, well, if you do the NDA fee, I won't draw and work on your comms on stream. Maybe that's what, like, the discrepancy is there, because I still am so caught up on that she's just blatantly talking about other comms to people and not abiding by an NDA that she charges for.
Yeah. By the way, Artemis for 2 was Elf Dad asking about your live surprise pregnancy.
I don't think he actually heard. Shut up. Yeah, I don't think he heard about that. He was responding to my stuff on Hassan, which, by the way, my dad says. Again, my dad has been a vet tech for over a decade. He says no dog yelps from being vibrated like that. That was a shot collar. And again, I have my own fucking court expert witness, so to speak. But I'm gonna go with the guy who's been doing veterinary work for 12 years over Hassan and his line ass.
Yeah. Sino, thank you for the raid. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for the raid, Sino, and welcome, Sparkies.
So Cinder replies, I want to make things as easy as possible for you. And maybe if you don't want to stream collabs yet, we can hang out while we work. If you want someday, no stream.
Okay, I would love to actually, like, get used first. Maybe we actually hate each other. Okay, she meant get used to each other. Okay.
Yeah. Cinder says, no, don't say that. I could never.
I'm sure about that. What would be hilarious? Yeah, it's so hilarious, right? Your hate for Cinder.
Yeah, so We thought this was quite funny overall.
I'm starting to get mad.
We saw this during Akko's stream last night, and I kind of joked about how I was like, wow, this is a little on the nose, honestly.
It's so on the fucking nose on it. That's why I'm a little agitated, because I'm like, did you Nanolis, did you just always resent Sinder or something? I don't know what the fuck this is.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's her joking. I get it, everybody. I get it. But, like, knowing what we know now, it's just very odd.
Also, let me see if my my shout out thing still works. It does. Look at that. Oh no, it fucked up. That's interesting. Well, the first one worked. The second one didn't. I'll have to fix that later. Ignore the second chat message.
Now we are in. I mean, here's the thing too. We are still in 2023. We are still years ago, guys.
So now we are a little less than a week ahead. I asked Nano about one of my then upcoming model sisters' debuts when planning my demon debut so they wouldn't accidentally fall on the same day. Sinder says, Nano, do you know about when blank plans on debuting your model, just so I can plan around it if it's near my debuts?
Sorry, my dad walked in again.
You're good.
Let me check on that. I believe it was about June 22nd or July 2nd. And then Blank said her debut would be around July, August. Can't say the exact day yet.
Cinder says,
okay.
Cinder says, okay, I've been planning mine mid-July, but I'm trying to make sure I don't accidentally have it on the same day as anyone else.
Kissies.
God, shoot. Tweetchan said the exclusivity deal was gatekeeping an artist, and 3 seconds later called it a slave contract. Thank you, XLRs, for the 5.
is not, I don't know, not a smart person. And the reason why I'm going to say this is for most of human history, since artisans have been around. I'm talking Leonardo and the Da Vinci's fucking level, right? An artist's biggest, wildest dream would be an exclusivity contract to do commissions for one family, one group of people. You made it as an artist if you get exclusivity. There are DC and Marvel comic artists that are forbidden by their contract from drawing for other companies, for other comics. This is very normal. Artist exclusivity is the end game for an artist. For anyone to act like it's anything else is just stupid, because you're ignoring most of human history.
Yeah, she is actually currently watching it right now. She is still on the... It looks like she's still on the apology part. Possibly. She's live on Twitter. Everybody is covering this. Isn't a jealous
woman the reason why of Cain and Abel? I mean...
but everybody is covering this right now, and it annoys me a little bit because a lot of them are not doing it well. They're just kind of winging it.
Yeah, the only thing we can do in response to that is be very honest and open with our coverage, and hopefully it sets the bar, because right now the bar is far lower for covering this document than it should be.
She sped through Nanolis's part halfway. Okay, you can't do that. If you read any part, the only part you need to read is the Nanolis part, because it is the primary accusation.
Yeah, it's a slog going through all these screenshots, but remember, Nanolis is the core to this entire situation. She is the catalyst for having launched this entire cancellation campaign. If you are going to skip through these screenshots, you are honestly worse than anal violence, in terms of journalistic integrity.
Yeah. So we go back to Redacted. So it's the same day, same time frame. Redacted asks about Nano's projects and when Silver contacted her about her model made in 2022 and encouraged her to set aside time for her own content. It says, after the GG 2.0 and Demon Art edits, we'll give you a break to focus on yourself for a while. You still have a lot of other projects to do right now other than Sinder.
Okay, look, I was really coming in against Redacted, because that first thing that we saw of him asking not to do models for, Spite, I was very much on him. But these questions are honestly ambiguous enough. It's not considered, like, asking for a violation of confidentiality. Nanolith is offering this information completely free of charge.
Yeah.
So, that being said, thank you. I need some breaks. At Pepe, currently only blank. Silver seems to want another model, though.
Redacted says, brand new, question mark?
Yep. She didn't reply to the model specification, so I'm just taking this as a chance to be free. Cry laughing Pepe, I guess.
Nano, you don't need to answer, but I'm just curious. When did Silver contact you about making her first model? Also, I feel like you should take at least July off to focus on you and your streams. Nano deserves Nano time too.
It was like 2 weeks before her birthday.
Redacted says okay and puts a really weird emoji.
I call it cringe face. At this point, I might just stick to Cinder, blank, and blank. Silver is not very responsive to. Oh, so this is them pretty much humming and hawing and decide not to do Silver's model on their own.
Yeah. Like, notice, Redacted, I don't like his question that he shouldn't be digging into this, but all he said is, when did you make it? And Nanolist, without like any
also, you don't
prompting,
need to
just
answer.
goes.
He did qualify it. He's basically, hey, he's a cop going, hey, you have the right to remain silent, but do you want to answer this question? And Nanolist is choosing to answer these questions.
Yeah. And, like, all he asked was like, when was it? And she goes, oh, it was this time. I might just do models for these people because Silver doesn't reply to me. Redacted
yeah,
says,
I see why this wasn't included.
Yeah. Redacted replies, that's surprising. What the fuck? We love working with you, not just for your art.
Okay, Redacted, you're fucking gassing her up. Okay. Blush Okato, that's so sweet of you. Been having fun with streaming lately. Hope I can keep up.
You've been doing really good. Whenever I see you lurk for a little while, lol. Sinder still really wants to collab with you. Maybe we can set up a drawing stream where you both draw VTubers in paint with like a 5-minute timer or something, lol.
I want to, I'm just too pussy. Yet, wow. This sounds fun, not gonna lie.
Red asked Nano about when
By the way, that noise was actually just what they said, so I was just being accurate.
Yeah. I asked Nano when she made Silver's first model from her because we grew suspicious if it had anything to do with Cinder and her debut about a couple months earlier. Nano wasn't known as a model artist in the summer of 2022 and had only done 3 models at that point, including Cinder's. More about this topic in Silver's section of the document.
Honestly, Red, I'm gonna disagree with you here. Nano has hit the ground running the second they came out with Cinder's model with the flame ears.
Yeah.
Trust me, everybody wanted to know who rigged that. Trust me, the second Cinder models came out, Nanolist was on the map as a model artist. It's a fact.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's see here.
So then we have 5/5/2023, so it's around the same time. I thank Nano for the Waifu Cup artwork she made for me, and her scale figure was announced. So Nano, you did such an incredible job on the Waifu Cup artwork. Thank you so much for being the best ever. Thank you so much for the raid today. I'm so excited for your figure. I'm going to be the first to get one.
So I didn't reply. You before, oh shit, I'm excited and a bit nervous, hope it sells well.
And then a day later, Cinder replies again, no, that's okay. I'm going to tell all my friends to buy.
I appreciate, not gonna lie, I'll shamelessly get all help I can.
A couple days later, on 5/9/2023, Red talks to Nano about the situation with my first Waifu Cup, which led to him revealing our experience with Silvervale over the past 2 years. Spite was mentioned towards the end of their conversation, and it was the last time she was ever talked about between them. Before this, I was told Silvervale had her own waifu cup with Nano's artwork on it that was already far into production. I was excited and proud to have the first cup with Nano's art, and all of a sudden that wasn't going to be the case. Not only that, but if my cup was going to be released after Silver's, I would have been harassed for copying her again. And then Red adds, I did not lie to Nano about anything. I said this in conversation and would have had no reason to. Everything I said was as I genuinely thought and experienced, speaking to a friend I trusted.
You're literally the best Blush and Kano.
The cup might be coming out a lot sooner than we were planning because of conflicts with another release.
Oh no, what a disaster.
Yeah, there's another creators thing coming out, and we wanted to make sure Cinder's was released ASAP.
Damn, do you know when it is?
Not exactly, that's why we're rushing.
Pretty hype having my art on a Gamer Subs cup.
Waiting to hear back about moving the release date up, though. Yeah, we're super excited to be the first with your art.
Random emoticon.
Had to move it up to make sure we have the first Nano Cup. Gonna be big.
I'm so excited. Let me know if you get dates. And then a smudge emoticon. I don't know what the fuck.
It was supposed to be towards the end of June. We're waiting on confirmation, but it could be within the next couple weeks.
Let's go!
The other thing with your art on it could be coming out soon, so we're going Sonic Speed on this bitch.
Other thing.
But they still want the art at AX, probably without the cups being on sale. And he says, yeah.
Shocked blob emoticon.
He says, yeah, wait a minute. Redacted says,
shocked Pepe.
I thought you would have been told. Okay, so I'm probably not supposed to say anything, but...
Keck Red.
You gotta keep this between us.
Of course.
No leaks.
I hate you so much for making me say this. I'm leaking excitement.
No, you can't even do that, or I'll have to send the gorilla that beat me up that one time to your house.
Okay, I'm clogged. So many questions. A gorilla beat up redacted? What the fuck?
Okay, so Sinder has been super excited about having the first cup with your art, like super big deal with the cool double-sided 2-color effect.
She's a cutie, auntie.
She was talking to Blank today about upcoming cups from other creators because she was curious, and Blank was teasing a few to her. And he mentioned a new kind of cup he pitched to the heads at GamerSups, and they agreed after seeing a certain piece of art, and it'll be used on the first kind of this cup. This new cup, instead of the normal transparent waifu cup art, is a full-body color art piece. IDK how the cup will end up looking, though. Okay, and this is top secret, and you can't say anything to anyone, not even Blank.
I'm an emoticon.
Because technically, this was between him and Sinder, and I shouldn't know about it, but I'm the manager. And I thought you knew.
Blank me GG people were very interested on my work. Maybe it was a foreshadow.
The new full body
spoiler stuff.
Well, that's here. You can kind of see it with the sort of weird outline on this.
Oh, okay, see it.
Yeah. This new full body color art cup is of silver and is basically the same part of production as Sinder, and it has your art. What Blank told Sinder is that it was something you drew for silver for Blank and it was never used, so she's reusing it here after Blank pitched the idea to make it. So Sinder starts panicking about it. We have no clue when they plan on releasing that cup, but if it's before Sinder, it won't be the first Nano Cup. Not only that, but Sinder said the hand with the heart positions are really similar, which isn't your fault since you didn't know anything about this. And if Cinder's cup were to release after, then it would just be more fuel to the ongoing drama between them, and Sinder will get more hate about it. Plus hers is a brand new full art color cup, while Sinder would have a normal waifu cup, and it would be overshadowed in comparison. So Blank was doing overtime coordinating Blank to try and work out an emergency plan to get Cinder's cup out ASAP. There's just a lot of unspoken drama between Sinder and Silver. Only me and a couple other people know everything. It was important we get Cinder's out before her.
Okay.
Be right here.
Oh, where other am I? She has a drama with Silver? Crying Pepe?
There's just been a lot of misunderstandings and coincidences. The internet thinks Sinder copied everything about Silver, and it's basically confirmed that Silver doesn't like Sinder because of it.
It's kind of sad my baby's not getting really well together, not gonna lie.
She says woot.
Woot. I don't want. Why is there a woot there?
Yeah, what's the woot for? Cinder's raided Silver multiple times, and she's the only one that Silver won't say her name. Silver was at Cinder's debut last year. Cinder started growing fast, and then not even a month later contacts you about getting a model from you herself, rushed for her birthday. There's more instances like that, but Silver refuses to acknowledge or interact with Cinder at all because it's assumed Cinder copied her. It sucks because she didn't. Ironically, Cinder is only Cinder because of Silver, not because she copied her, the complete opposite. History lesson time. Before Cinder was Cinder, she was Tashi with an ASMR channel, which she still does sometimes. I do want to say this, because I saw some people talking about this. It's like, wow, this makes Cinder look kind of petty. It does. However, all of the girls are like this.
I think that's the point of this dog. And she's not trying to say that she's this infallible person. Yeah, I fucked up, but you guys have to understand. The people that you're taking the side of are just as bad, if not worse than I am.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it is. Cinder is petty for believing this about Silverveil. However, this is something Silverveil actually does, and we confirmed that later with Silverveil's own stuff. And that's the weird part of all of this, is I can sit here, and if I didn't know all this information about all these other girls, I'd be like, wow, Cinder is kind of schizophrenic for thinking this. But then you go to the other girls, and they're like, yeah, no, 100% it's true, I did that. It's like, what the why?
Yeah, like there was that claim that's like, oh, Cinder is getting paranoid that Shy Lily's ducking collabs. And then Shy Lily, yeah, I did duck collabs because I didn't feel like it. Well, then, look, you can either be paranoid or you can be right, okay?
Pretty much.
And guess what? Yeah, exactly.
Winter Dracton says, I don't care about pettiness in a mutually antagonistic relationship. Yeah, that's the thing. If Cinder was doing this to people who were just nice to her, I'd be like, wow, she's kind of a bitch. But since she's doing it to people who do it back to her, I'm kind of like, you kind of just hate each other. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not petty to people I don't like. I'm petty to people I don't like all the time, and they're petty back to me.
Mizu has said on record multiple times, if he was rich, he would use his wealth just to be petty to people. And honestly, I'm behind it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, pettiness is deserved in some instances. Not unnecessarily so, but if it's a mutually antagonistic relationship, yeah, I'm gonna be petty. And it's gonna be fucking amazing.
Yeah, like, don't sit here and be petty to somebody who didn't start anything with you. But they're doing it to each other constantly, back and forth, all the time. I don't understand why I have to pretend like one side is worse than the other. And I can't just be like, okay, you're both kind of petty bitches. But Red adds, Silver did not like Cinder and how she would respond to Cinder's raids in the past we had, to infer that Lily's interactions to her raids, along with her other behavior, signal she had a problem with Cinder. Again, this is the thing we learned with the Shy Lily stuff, but this is absolutely how these girls react to each other when they don't like each other. And they do like these petty, not mentioning people things. Like, yeah, it sounds kind of schizophrenic, but we have them admitting that this is the thing they do when they don't like people. I don't know what people want me to say about it, because I can't in good conscience.
It reminds me of a great Boondocks quote from the White Shadow, the FBI agent who's shadowing Huey Freeman. He goes, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean we're not out to get you.
Yeah.
I think that applies here because Jesus.
Yeah, you can You can go a little overboard with your paranoia, but there could still be somebody like trying to get you. I think of it like the government conspiracy people. Like a lot of times they believe a lot of wacky shit about the government that's just not true. But then there's always that one thing like in the middle there. That's just like, yeah no, 100%. That's something the government did and you shouldn't trust them for that. It's the same thing here. Like, yeah, no, comes off a little schizophrenic, but they actually did that. That was actually something they did to her.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know she's going around going, I'm not crazy, you're crazy, I'm not crazy, you're crazy. But they're actually crazy.
Yeah.
She's not crazy. They're actually crazy.
I heard from people who did read the doc that even if they think Sinder was coping, agreed Nanolis was a problem. 100% from... By the way, chat, I'm not just reading this blindly. I've read parts of this already. Nanolis is so much in the wrong, and we're just not there yet.
Yeah, big time.
We're already at a part where Nanolis kind of sucks, but they're kind of like a very...
Nanolis is like sussy and like ill. I don't know about this. A little bit cringe, right? We're gonna get into the actual shit, though.
Okay, so we just did the which she still does sometimes, and then we start over here.
Yep. Oh yeah, I've seen that. The pink OC.
And Redacta posted a picture of it. Yeah, she's always loved... As a girl, you can't say you love wolves or dogs. As a white girl.
But I love wolves.
Yeah.
I love wolves.
And I ask many
and
questions
foxes.
about you. White girls fuck dogs. Anyways.
Oh my god.
She's always loved wolves, and she always loved the cherry blossom motif. So we were going to turn her already successful existing character into her VTuber, but turn her into a wolf girl. We wrote lore for it and everything. She was a cherry blossom wolf girl who was the nature goddess spirit of the forest.
Oh shit, oh shit.
This was October 2020. We were waiting to start on it with Blank. We couldn't start with her until December. After 1 to 2 weeks before she was ready to work with us, V Shoujo debuted, and Silver was rebranded as a Cherry Blossom Wolf Girl. So to avoid copying her, and so we would stand out, we basically did the opposite of that design. Because of Cinder's love for metal music and Okami/wolves, and the fact no one at the time had fire since Western VTubing was so new, we came up with Sinder and told Blank we had to change the direction last minute in order to stand out from Silver, and also that the pink cherry blossom motif was super overdone. It ended up working out since no one else but Spite nowadays really has her theming.
I mean, yeah.
That, and like people could talk about this, right? Because we talk about it all the time, that people do not own kind of like a vague design idea, right? Like hellhounds have been a thing for who knows how many millennia at this point in religious scripture and stuff, and in stories and whatnot.
Oh, Jesus Christ, we're like talking, I think it's 3,500?
Yeah.
No, actually no, 10,000 BCE, that's right. So yeah, we're dealing with 12,000 years of lore here. You don't own a copyright to that idea, guys.
But when you are doing this as like a business, you do have to consider standing out from your contemporaries when you're designing stuff. You can't just have the thought process of, oh, it doesn't matter that people are going to think we're the same person, just fucking send it anyways. Like, actual companies have entire departments that their sole purpose is to try and make sure that their ideas have not already been done by somebody else.
Yeah, it's called a patent office.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. It's actually more R&D, but seriously, yeah. There are entire departments. And that was a big thing with me, right? I'm like, oh shit, what kind of VTuber do I want to be? Well, turns out there's a lot of elf vampires out there, but there's no elf pyres out there. So there we go. But again, my basic concept has been done several times over. I've seen like 2 debuts of a vampire elf, like in the last 2 months. I'm not taking offense to it. I don't think I'm being copied. I think my idea is kind of basic as fuck, and it's up to me to make that basic idea into something actually digestible for you guys.
Yeah. Like, you have to actually think about these things, and you shouldn't put somebody down, because like they just happen to be similar to somebody. But when you're making the design yourself, you have to consider that people that will put you down exist out there. And you're gonna have to try your best to navigate around that. You can't just ignore it, because then all the discussion about you becomes like it does with Sinder, where like, oh, she copied Spite, oh, she copied Silvervale, oh, she copied so-and-so. Like, that's what the whole conversation ends up being, and it inherently hurts your SEO, it inherently hurts your community, because your community constantly has to deal with that discussion around you. It's just something you have to think of.
Yeah.
But Redacted continues. Some people think that Cinder and Silver sounding similar, or their designs looking somewhat alike as Wolf Girls, or Cinder's model art and Silver's original blank 2D model looking alike, or the fact that they're both super similar personalities and have similar sounding laughs must mean that Cinder copied everything.
Okay, hold on real quick. Anubis Ash says, Vampire Elf, isn't there one in Baldur's Gate 3? First of all, I made Eva before Baldur's Gate 3, so fuck Astarion. That being said, let's continue. Where are we here?
It's kind of in the center here, right here.
Oh, there it is, okay. Maybe Silver don't talk too much with me because of Cinder. I mean, I'm not blaming Cinder, don't worry.
I don't know, I wouldn't think that's the case, because she's worked with you for a long time before Cinder. You've done a lot of art for her.
Yes, this is kind of sad though. I think Cinder and Silver could be like sisters.
I'm just wondering if she asked you for a new model because she caught wind of Cinder's upcoming debut and wants to one-up her.
Brian Tepe.
I said, literally, they're so alike, like, their personalities and their opposite designs, they fit so well together. Cinder just feels like she's always in Silver's shadow because of that's what people think. Nano, tell me this wouldn't work.
Dude.
But like going back to the gamer subs thing, if Silver releases her new impressive cup first, it's just going to overshadow Cinder's, plus she'd take the first Nano Art Cup title, and since the poses are similar, people would say she's copying again.
I just feel like Cinder with blank people used fast still compares a lot, and I feel I'm always on his shadow. Okay, this must be referring to another artist.
Yeah, we're still not really sure who this artist is yet. However, we do believe at some point in this that she's talking about Kevin, which for those of you who don't know, this is not the first time Nanolis has been in controversy for being a bitch. She actually was in a ton of controversy with Kevin, where he had to make minor edits to her model in order to rig it, and she, for some reason, flipped shit and got pissed about it.
She flipped shit, got pissed about it, and then gave him shit for using a template system, which in this document ourselves, we can tell that Nanolis also uses a similar template system.
Yep.
Which, again, I don't think is a bad thing, but to take a higher ground morality-wise, when you're doing the same exact thing is honestly disgusting.
Yeah. So Redacted adds, oh, and plus we didn't even give blank Silver as a design reference. We gave her blank, lol. Kind of a weird emoji from Nanolis. And Redacted says, I completely understand that. I actually liked both of your art for a long time. Blank, I always thought of you as the, quote, bigger artist. And then another blank.
Thank you, what the fuck? Yep. This is just gas. This is just like gassing up Nanolis.
Redacted says, damn, yeah, I like blank too, blank. And then I guess he shows a picture here probably. But you can't tell me that this is better than this. God artist Nano. Okay, I'm not supposed to have this image saved, but let me show you the cup art.
Oh my god. Redacted. You need a duck face, first of all. Thank you, Red. On the hentai world, skew doesn't mean much but booba.
It says, yeah, but you draw the best booba. If Silver's cup comes out first, wow, Cinder even copied Silver's cup art and artist, and it's not even in color. I'm gonna say, like, he shouldn't have...
And then you shared proprietary information that you weren't supposed to share. You said I'm not supposed to have this image saved. but let me go ahead and share my saved image I'm not supposed to have saved. Dude, redacted. Seriously, this is NDA violations with gamer subs and shit. This is bad. You can't do this.
I would say the top part was an NDA violation. This part, I don't think can be, because both of these are arts he would have access to. The Silver Veil is a pre-existing art that she has
I'm not
posted.
supposed to have this image saved, but let me show you the cup arts. That's the one I'm talking about. So whatever image he's not supposed to have
one right
saved
here.
And he shared, that's what he should have done.
He's talking about
this,
but the thing is, both of these he would have regular access to. Because the Silver Veil one is an old art that is already public, and the Sinder one is one he is personally commissioning. So I think he means
why does
he's not supposed to know that these are the arts they're planning to use.
Honestly, actually, what's going on here, and this would still be a violation of NDA, even though these are being used. He was told by GamerSubs, these are the art being used, don't save this. He saved it and he's sharing that. Even though the art is publicly available, and maybe even he conned it, you're not supposed to share this information, especially when a bigger company is in works producing that merchandise. They are very strict with their NDA. This is a violation of that NDA, even though the art is publicly available.
Actually, the NDA would be with Sinder. Because Sinder gave him this, and Sinder wasn't supposed to give him this because he technically wasn't involved. That's what he said earlier.
But Redacted is the manager and therefore representative.
Yes, but it depends. Because he would have to specifically be the one to sign the NDA. The other thing is, I don't actually think there was any NDA. It was probably just a verbal thing, like, oh, don't tell anybody this.
There might not have been, No, I kind of believe that, but I'm just saying, how he has phrased this, then he posts this. This is walking a line you should not be anywhere near. I don't think he's crossed it. Like you said, I don't think this was NDA'd. But to talk like this and then post the stuff, you are playing with fire, my friend.
They need a serious course on how to NDA. Well, here's the thing. The first person that would have violated NDA in this chain of command would have been Cinder's contact at GamerSubs. Because Cinder's contact at GamerSubs is telling her about other people's releases. So
yeah, which also should be happening. Yeah,
this is why I
Cinder's
personally
a partial owner, so there's a
she wasn't a personal owner at the time, I don't think.
Say that.
I'd have to look at the exact dates, because this was back in early 2023. But what I would say is, personally, I don't care about any NDA in this case, because literally every single person has broken it. So clearly nobody gives a shit.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
If one exists, clearly no one cares.
No one's abided by it on either side, so why even fucking point it out kind of thing. Yeah, I get that.
We can't see the whole art.
Shit.
I definitely agree, though, from what we can see, that because these two have had these allegations of copying already, there's going to be some flame if these release back-to-back.
There was gonna, yeah, definitely. Oh shit, they do be similar. What have I done?
Redacted says blank, so at least if Cinder's cup comes out first, what we're trying to do, then Silver will be copying Cinder. But it won't matter, and no one will say that because she's massive, and the full-body colored art will take the attention away from it anyways. But like I said, both Cinder and Silver are at the same point of productions, so she could launch just as soon as us, but we don't know when.
If it wasn't so urgent, I could make a new art for this special cup.
Redacted says, nah, it's okay, Nano, we really love the art you made for it. Maybe if they want another cup? We can always do a double-sided full-body color artwork with 2.0 and Demon or something, who knows? But yeah, I really wish Silver could make up with... I guess he meant wish. I really wish Silver could make up with Cinder. There's more drama that happened over the past couple years, but it's all from Silver's side. They go so well together.
Okay. They would do so good together. That's a big L.
Big L for real.
I hope Cinder Cup comes first, though. I know the sad feeling, crying Pepe. Honestly, she could try to talk before doing this.
Redacted says, what do you mean? Like Cinder to Silver?
Like, talk to have things sorted before just ignoring it all. I mean, goddamn, Nanolis.
I don't think Silver is willing to. Cinder DM'd Silver on Twitter before asking to play Minecraft together since they were both really into it and was never answered. And they're not Discord friends. Okay, let me explain their first interaction. Oh wait, it's late for you. You should sleep.
And then they say, don't worry, I love gossips.
Nano, isn't it 2 or 3 a.m. for you?
I believe it was the MSP Mine server. It is, but I'm very into it. Very into it.
Okay, let me get the deets. I'm trying to find the tweets. And then Red adds in the middle here, don't worry, I love gossips. Nano's always been open to talking about drama and gossip with me. I get that. This is the part where I think you're both wrong, though.
Yeah, no, Red. I get Nano has always been willing to gossip with you. You as a manager should not be gossiping about competition to your artist. That's incredibly unprofessional.
Yeah. It says, okay,
we have,
this is the art. It says, a little gift for @Silvervale. I thought we'd be cute to draw us together since we're opposites. You're such an inspiration to me. Thank you for bringing so much joy to this community. Hashtag Doodlevale, hashtag Cinderdoodle, hashtag VTuber, hashtag IanVTuber. Okay, this was February 2021. Okay. Cinder was designed in December 2020. Also, thank you for the raid. Igrish over on Twitch, and I hope I said that right. I said Cinder was designed in December 2020. Cinder was a talented artist from high school and college, and she didn't pick up art for a long time until she got a tablet for working on the ASMR channel, like thumbnails. So when she became a VTuber, she wanted to draw fan art of herself with other big VTubers. Silver was the first one she did. I actually find it interesting that Cinder drew this herself because I didn't know she was like an artist. So she did pretty good.
Yeah, that is a good art piece. I didn't know that either.
I said she planned to do her and Blank drinking tea, Bow splashing water on her and her getting upset, and Blank playing drums while Cinder played a Guitar Hero guitar.
That's cute. I remember the art actually.
Redacted says, but she never ended up doing any more, so only the Silver one exists and no one knows about the other ones. So in isolation, it seems like she only ever meant to draw this one for Silver. The problem is in that tweet, Cinder said, you're such an inspiration. When in reality, Silver was an inspiration for the design by not wanting to be a cherry blossom wolf, but not by her streams or inside jokes or personality or anything because Cinder didn't watch Silver. So people look at this one fan art.
That chip on your shoulder is very unattractive.
It is, yeah, it's cringe. So people look at this one fan art Cinder ever did, and the fact she said she's an inspiration to point to them having similar names, designs, and on-stream personas, but that's not all the drama with this post. Cinder tweeted this same thing a few days before, but there was also a hashtag Cindervale. You know, because it's cute art, there wasn't malicious intent or weirdage feelings behind it. Mama Vale retweeted the original repost, then untweeted it, and we were like, well, what happened?
Okay, I mean, Jesus Christ. People make too much fuss out of nothing, too.
At the time, we were working with Blank on Cinder's alerts and panel art.
There's so many VTubers that are very alike.
Says, we knew Blank was friends with Silver, so we asked her if there was a problem. And Blank said that Silver was really off-put by hashtag Cindervale, and she was going to message Cinder. Silver messages Cinder asking her to take it down, and she did without any problems. Cinder was really broken up about it because she didn't want to get off on the wrong foot with Silver, being one of the biggest VTubers at the time, and because since we redesigned her into Cinder, I've always pushed for them to interact because their designs go so well together. So she took down the tweet and reposted the one I sent you. Silver and Mama Vale commented, and that was it. Silver never followed Cinder, but I mean, at the time, Cinder was just a reference sheet, end of chapter, next chapter. This is what I'm talking about. With everybody in this space is just kind of petty bitches. Because this thing with Silver happened. she saw this tweet, saw the hashtag Cindervale, and instead of being like, oh, I have a fan, it's so cute, like, look at the cute artwork of us, she messages her and she's like, yeah, I want you to take that down. Okay, what?
God, that's fucking wild.
I can't imagine somebody making me cute artwork, and then just going to their page and like, hey dude, I'm gonna want you to take this down because I'm not a fan.
I've had people make not safe for work artwork of Eva, and I've been nothing but appreciative. So I don't get this.
I wouldn't have taken it down. The problem is Sinder was just starting out, and Silvervale was a part of VShojo at the time, which at the time was a respected organization.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
So she's not going to leave it up if
there.
Silvervale says that she's uncomfortable with it. She's just going to...
Yeah, because then VShojo comes down on you and then you have a problem.
Yeah, she's just going to delete it and re-upload it how she's told. Hey, you going to go draw not safe for work art of us right now? Go ahead. I welcome it. You can even draw me as a furry.
Yeah. By the way, Mizu, 10-minute warning.
Oh, you got to leave in 10 minutes?
I had to go in 10 minutes. Yeah.
So let's see. Where's the next part go? That's gonna be a hot minute. So we'll stop at this part here, and we'll have to reconvene on this later.
Okay.
Not next Lautism.
Okay.
We'll have to reconvene later in the week if you have time.
Yeah, we'll definitely. Yeah, no, we do. I definitely have time for this. Trust me. Look, we canceled the Kick Watch Along of A Good Place because this doc dropped. I don't give a fuck. We're getting through it. I don't care how much time it takes.
So Redacted says, now we're on the model chapter.
Oh, man, still pretty mean from Silverside. Dude, also, Sinder did art class. It explains why her eye for art is really good.
Redacted says, she is artist.
It's the design change that made you guys have issues with the first model artist. I remember y'all coming to me because the other one didn't work well.
It's a long story.
Pepe.
Yep, so it says, in between these screenshots, Red told Nano the story about the long process of getting my first model, but it's not relevant to show here. It was probably just like going over the rigging and everything that happened in between that.
Yeah.
But chat, unfortunately...
I mean, we do know with the... Yeah. Yes, sorry, unfortunate. We have to go.
Yeah, unfortunately, our elf has to leave, has other business. Oh yeah, so I can mention this, and we can get Ava's opinion on this before we go. Later in the document, she mentions that she gave up her part of the ownership in Gamer Subs.
Yep. I
think she was pressured to give it up.
Well, she says she did. Well, yeah, and you know what? That's probably true. But I do... Here's something that's nice. Like, this could have been a bomb that was dropped, like, hardcore, if, like, there was no communication with Gamer Subs, anything. She just came out and left, and gave away her shares. Now, she notified Gamer Subs back in June of her decision, and then her mentioning it here is more of an act of contrition, is something I call it, more than just a letter of forgiveness. Like, oh, here's my apology. No, this is my apology, and this is what I'm doing to try and make it right. Even though I know I can't make it completely right, this is my attempt. So there's an actual act at, like, reconciliation here.
Yeah. I kind of feel like she was pushed into getting out.
Because
her statement really reached to me like those people that resign from, like, government positions. And they're like, I have brought great disrespect to, like, the halls of this place or whatever. Which typically what it means is behind closed doors, they were like, look, you're leaving.
Look, somebody messaged Sinder and went, hey, I think that you're quite stressed, and I think you could use some time off. They're not going to say just fire, but they're definitely going to use language that is going to encourage them to resign. And that's what happened here. I'm 90% sure.
Pressure might have led to her to leave by her own will. It's possible. I think back in there has been like some pressure.
Look, both of those are right. She still left via her own will, but she would not have left had she not been pressured to do so.
Yep. So we are going to have to go through this again at a later time, chat. And I actually think overall that's probably a healthier way to do this than a lot of people that are just kind of mindlessly scrolling through it. It's like, oh, we can skip that, we can skip that. No, we'll go through it piece by piece.
Yeah, we can't. No, we can't skip this shit.
We'll have it like separated out into multiple parts, and then people can kind of. I'll probably try and start titling them what they're about, and then people can choose which parts they want to sit through if they want to sit through them at all.
Yeah. Later,
I will try and condense it down. Although you guys know I'm not good at that. But Ava's gotta go. I'm gonna send you guys to Dama because Dama's my bestie. So be good for Dama. Definitely every day I think I'm gonna cover some of this. I'm not, well, except tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll mention it for Under the Tea. But every day I will sit down and I will cover parts of this.
Very, very awesome. And thank you very much, chat, for coming out and perusing through this document with us.
Yes, it's always good. But we'll see you guys later. And don't forget to make your own decisions. You're not required to agree with us, and you're not required to go against us.
As Legal Mindset might say, be your own judge.
Exactly. Bye, everybody. I hope you guys have a good one.